okay, I'm recording it. Yeah. Yeah.
What are you recording?
I'm recording this so I can upload it as a separate thing. So it's not buried in a fucking big shit, right?
Oh, okay.
Okay, hold on.
I was gonna say the part about like we're gatekeeping.
Yeah, so
Okay, so he says gatekeeping. That old motto of "we play games that are actually good"
is gatekeeping for old middle-aged white men. Yeah, gatekeeping.
So in his mind, the only real gamers are middle-aged white men. Is what he's trying to be like. Oh,
yeah, he's using progressive language, but he's like, you know, yeah, they're not.
He's like, yeah, the only real gamers are middle-aged white guys. Just to be clear.
And of course, the other problem is,
like, what about all the other, like, hardcore gaming communities exist outside of like D&D?
Yeah.
Like, think of all the, like when you think of a hardcore gamer, they're not all middle-aged white guys. That's
what do you mean D&D? Like, Destiny 2 and Halo, dude. Halo and Destiny 2.
Yeah, but they're not even like you go like for example now.
I know what you're fucking saying. I know what you're saying. Yes.
Zoomers will destroy you. That's what I'm saying. Like he thinks, oh, we're real gamers. He sits down with a Zoomer, he's gonna get destroyed.
True, but another problem is, you know, why not, instead of fucking changing your whole motto, why not change the we, who we are, hire different fucking people, make different type of games, assemble more teams that do weird projects, assemble some fucking teams that make casual games, some teams that make fucking shmups, some teams that make hardcore games, you know, change the makeup of your fucking teams if that's a problem. But instead he's like, oh, you know, you know, he's like, it's a problem that, you know, our studio is just middle-aged white guys, but I'm not going to do anything to change it.
I just don't even think that's even accurate.
Of course it's not accurate. Of course it's not accurate. There's probably like a whole team of, you know, of course it's probably not fucking accurate. And it's just bullshit. It's literally just corporate speak. It's like disingenuous fucking bullshit, like a politically correct language for, you know, we came up with this, which is more convenient, and they're basically speaking to fucking investors when they say that type of shit, not us.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Because investors are like, oh, you know, they're very socially conscious. They're gonna go far, you know, fucking come on.
Even though, like, people who are hardcore gamers, a lot of them grow up in environments where, you know, they're not able to go play golf on the weekends, you know. Yeah. So it's like, yeah, it annoys me.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, go ahead.
And also, like Gabo Jones says, remember when Bungie made the beat 'em up Oni? And yeah, literally, it's here on the screen. They made a beat 'em up / third-person shooter called Oni, anime inspired by Ghost in the Shell. Back in the day. Now they don't fucking do that, of course. What?
Good? Was it good?
I don't know. It's been too long.
Be honest, was it good?
I haven't played. It looks janky, but maybe it's like an interesting. The one thing it did, it severely limited your ammo, so you can like shoot, but you have to shoot in very very selectively, and mostly rely on like beat 'em up mechanics. And it does have throws, so you know. I don't know. Maybe it's decent. Maybe it's decent. I don't know.
You remember that one? That I don't think this was a major studio that made it, but there was some like old school, I think either Xbox or Xbox 360 game called like Breakdown or something, where it was like a first person shooters, except you beat the shit out of people instead of shooting them.
Vaguely,
like,
I remember. Yeah, vaguely, I remember.
I never played that, but I always like that could be kind of interesting.
There was also Condemned Criminal Origins, right?
You know, a really good one that I don't think it was made by a major studio, but it had Hollywood money from Vin Diesel, and it was actually pretty good. Was the Escape from Butcher Bay?
Yeah. I played a little bit of that.
I beat that motherfucker all the way through, and I was like, "This is sick."
Hell yeah!
I like that game.
Yeah, fucking all right. Let's see what let's see what's.
Except the part like, you know, there's some cinema stuff in it. That's
well, of course, that's par for the course.
That I'm like, this is fucking crazy. There's a part in that game where but I gotta tell you this. There's a part in that game where you're sent to prison, and it's like legit prison. Like you have to get shivs and you have to like stab other prisoners and like gang up on people and shit. I'm like, oh god, this goes hard. So
hell yeah,
that's a cool.
Okay, all right. Let's see what Kane has to say.
And this picture is old and grainy because it's an old picture I actually found on my cell phone, because we took down that motto a little while after D2 launch as we evolved our view of what success really meant. And our new studio motto, this is a more recent picture, is we create worlds that inspire friendship. And this new studio purpose has a bunch of benefits over the old one, like including the fact that we make games we want to play. It sounds a little too much like it's just like gatekeeping for bald middle-aged white guys like me. But besides adopting a more global and inclusive view, this is really about a shift away from
Shut the fuck up, dude.
that
Come on.
mindset into
Well,
service.
they did.
Locally,
Well, they did.
can't play.
Yeah, they did
You know
adopt.
those people in Korea, they can't game, dude. They don't know how to play. They
Yeah,
can't do it.
oh yeah, Halo. Like they would never understand
People in
Halo.
South America,
They just don't get
Americans,
Halo,
they
dude.
can't game
Yeah.
any good.
Japanese
games.
players wouldn't get Oni. Although,
Yeah,
all those like fucking African American weeaboos who fucking grew up with Dragon Ball Z, they wouldn't get Oni, dude. Come on.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, Jesus. All right.
mindset. And again, I'm not talking about the product design. I'm not talking about business models or like free to play or microtransactions. I'm talking about something much more fundamental to how we think about
Okay,
success.
let's see.
Like if you think about the best AAA box product games out there, like The Last of Us, there's Tsushima's, the Elden.
Yes, I am absolutely sure.
Just to be clear, investors, we're not talking about microtransactions. Those are still happening.
Yeah, I'm sure fucking Elden Ring was made. Why is he showing Elden Ring here? Elden Ring is literally
What?
like, yeah, well, he's showing Elden Ring here. Why is he fucking showing Elden Ring here? The whole point of fucking Dark Souls is it was like a game that Miyazaki wanted to fucking make in spite of what Sony. Huh?
It was like his wet dream. He's
Yeah,
like, oh,
yeah.
man,
He was
wouldn't
like
it be cool?
he and the team at FromSoft made a game in spite of Sony's complaints, right? Early on. Literally, it's like, you know, maybe at this point it's not as much of a passion project, but like the basis of that game isn't like fucking inspiring friendship. In fact, early on, if you read his interviews, he's like, "Oh, I made a game that tortures the player because I'm a masochist myself." That's his words, by the way.
Also, speaking of friendship, I've played a little Elden Ring, and when you see other players in Elden Ring, you're like, oh shit. They're going to try and shank you like Chronicles of Riddick. Try and stab you.
Yeah, there's your fucking friendship, motherfucker. Yeah, some guy just fucking glitches behind you, nothing personnel, kid. Fucking minces you. All right.
I will say it was really satisfying. Some guy tried to like shank me when I was playing Elden Ring, and I fucking beat him. That was pretty satisfying. I was like, yeah,
oh yeah,
bitch.
yeah. Well, are you sure it was a player instead of like the player like NPCs? Did they spawn?
I don't know. I could have been fooled for all I know.
Yeah.
But I did it. But it like acted like a player, so maybe it was a fake player. But
yeah, it's like I feel even Last of Us, you know, say what you will, but I'm not sure if it was like designed as a like, you know, everyone's gonna love this type of game, right?
that was made by Naughty Dog, right?
Yeah, but like still, it feels like they like it commits to being a movie game type of thing, right?
Naughty Dog is like kind of the pioneers of what modern Western
Yeah,
development.
yeah.
Ways that you have to respect it because they're the first ones to do it. They like came up with it, so
Yeah.
you got to respect that.
Yeah, they committed it to that shit.
Like, oh yeah, Last of Us, man. But I get what you're saying.
Yeah. Okay.
Rings. There's plenty more that I can throw up on here. Horizon, like core to the box product mindset in these games, is the goal of exceeding your expectations in every way.
Well, how is that related then? How is that fucking related, Baldy?
Let him cook. Let's see what he's got for us.
Well, yeah, but that's the thing, right? It feels like it's contradictory because if you're like, oh, we got to please everyone, and then exceeding your expectations, those go against each other, right? Because if you exceed the expectations, that means you're not like pandering to them. You're doing something above and beyond, or whatever. Let's see Baldy cook.
I think it is in that we're gonna pander like super.
Oh, yeah,
hard.
we're gonna
like
yeah.
level 10 pandering.
Yeah, you have no idea how hard we're gonna pander. Yeah.
They blow your mind with their scale, with their polish, with their quality. At their best, they often almost feel like perfect games. But we all know that these
At their best, they almost feel. Look, okay, this is not important, but listen how many qualifiers. At their best, they almost feel like perfect games. You know, at their best, like sometimes maybe they possibly kind of feel close to sort of like perfect, dude. You know, it's like, come on.
Well, if we're being really pedantic, which I guess I'm in the mood to be, I love the way he was like, and their quality. Like the way he said quality was weird.
Yeah, oh yeah, that was kind of fucking weird. He just like snuck that in there, you know, quality.
Yeah.
That was funny, but and thematically fitting. It's like great art, you know. Was it intended? No. Is it thematically fitting? Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. All right.
Products don't start perfect. Like one of my favorite old quotes from a Pixar interview that I love is, "All of our movies suck at first." Which, like, it sounds weird. It's almost incomprehensible when, as consumers, all we get to see is this near perfect run.
What did you just fucking say, Mark?
I say, and they continue to
All
suck to
right,
the
yeah,
bitter end.
the fucking Mr. Pixar
You know,
hater. Well, you don't like
yeah,
any Pixar movies? Not even like some shit like Up or something? Like the intro of Up is good at least, right?
yeah.
I like Wally, I think.
My feelings on Pixar have always I've been an OG hater of Pixar even back in the day.
Damn,
Like when I was a
fucking
kid,
ruthless.
watching Toy Story, I was like, this is like cheesy, right? And everyone else is like, no, it's amazing and beautiful. I was the only kid like, this is like a little cheesy, isn't it? But okay.
Yeah, not cool enough for Mark over here. All right.
I was a little, yeah, I was a little hardcore
Fucking
motherfucker. But
OG hipster. Yeah, all right. Maybe it helped
yeah.
that I wasn't exposed to Pixar until later. Well, yeah, let's
Oh,
go.
I Pixar movies my whole life.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's triggered your inner contrarian. You're like, oh, fuck this. All right, let's go.
Big products coming out of Pixar and now Disney. But we're all familiar with what the creative process is actually like behind the scenes, that nothing starts great, nothing starts perfect. Making anything great is always about iterating through failure after failure, making it just a little bit better.
Just as a topic, I'm curious what you think. Do you think things can potentially start great?
Possibly, yeah. I mean, like oftentimes, like you draw a sketch and you're like, "Oh shit, this is awesome." Like in the same way in a game, you start with like a really like Pac-Man, right? It was probably really fucking great immediately because it's so simple. Like as soon as he came up with the concept, he didn't need to like the developers probably didn't need to iterate too much to make it really good. I don't fucking know.
Yeah, I think it's with art. I think it can happen both ways. You can revise something that's kind of crappy into something amazing, but I do think it is possible for things to just immediately be awesome.
Yeah, I think in my experience so far, is if I have to like rely on content to improve something, I probably fucked up something in an earlier step went wrong somewhere. Like the core mechanics just aren't solid enough. If I'm like trying to fucking use content, I mean, at some point you have to rely on content, but like I don't know, the first like instinct is if the first instinct is like, oh, I can throw in some gimmicky enemies, then probably your combat isn't that great. I don't know.
Yeah, I could. The thing about art is like I think you can start with something truly terrible and then have like a breakthrough and basically redo all the shitty parts and make. Or you could just start with it being really good.
Okay, yeah. I feel like there's a distinction there is you can start with something like messy and kind of shitty but interesting, or you can start with something boring. The boring stuff, like boring and uninspiring and just kind of lame. The lame stuff you probably can't fix very much, but the messy, chaotic fucking clusterfuck you could probably polish into a really great game eventually, right?
Yeah. I agree.
Okay.
For each time until you finally have something incredible. And this idea of taking a game, taking any creative idea, and doing all of that iteration in secret at your studio so that the only thing you release, the only thing your audience sees is near perfect, that is what we're talking about at Bungie when we say the box product mindset. Because you iterate and iterate, guided mostly by your talent and your gut until you have something amazing. Then you release it with this giant marketing explosion and hope that it blows all of the doors off. And to be clear, like I'm not knocking this process. It's amazing. I have tons of respect for every one of these studios, every one of these games.
But
this idea of seeming like you never miss is why I originally applied to work.
I was like, it's making some sense here.
Oh, yeah, where is the butt, bald man? Fucking.
Okay, so he's saying the old school way of making games is like to actually make them and then release.
Yeah, to rely on your game developer instincts, like iterate, kind of do it as a fucking artist. Do it.
Yeah, like when really what you should be doing is you should be focus testing every decision.
Yeah, nonstop. Every single thing is just like the feedback, and then and it's like
common denominator is always the goal.
And I think he literally described it as like a big box product or some shit, right? Oh wait, no.
Yeah.
He called the box product the old method. Now it's like a live service. So of course. Yeah, it's like he's describing the transition away games made away from being artistic to being a fucking product. He's literally describing that.
The thing about it is that okay, so this is why like I don't know how exactly to solve this because if you take your game studio, right? If you were Bog Hog Incorporated,
oh yes,
and or like Cave, and you make your studio publicly traded, so now it's beholden to investors and stuff like this.
Yeah, that's kind of
do this.
Yeah.
because he's right in the sense that like the old school method of making games is way too financially risky
Yeah, that's what I'm
if you're
saying.
publicly,
Yeah, yeah, especially with for
but
these studios.
artistically fucking terrible. Like
Yeah.
obviously artistic, the only way to create something artistically amazing is the old school way of like you lock yourself away, you keep it internal, you're honing it, and then you release it and be like, bam, bitch, here it is.
Yeah,
But
yeah, and
obviously financially that's a little irresponsible.
yeah, and that's what I said. He's talking to investors, and he's talking to people who want to get investors. Because this is like the kind, because this is like the kind of model investors love. They can be like, oh, we're seeing we're seeing line go up or line go down. We can safely make financial decisions based on that, instead of like taking risks, which I feel like is kind of fucking against the whole point of investing, which is like investing in like exciting, innovative, interesting new products instead of like the safest fucking slop, right? Mark, I think our boy's fucking gone. Yeah, after that investor, after he didn't have anything to say about the investor rant, I knew he was fucking gone because he would be like talking from the background, like trying to fucking get in. Okay, let me see.
I'm here.
Oh,
I'm
we're
gonna
back. We're back. Okay.
keep,
Hello.
yeah, what it is I'm on Wi-Fi, so I'm not going to lose connection. But Discord, it literally just keeps crashing
Yeah.
every like often. But it only takes me a second to pop back in. And pretty soon I'll be done exercising and I'll actually sit at my computer.
Yeah,
But we're still
Gabo says, I actually think executives use investors as easy cop outs. That might be true as well. It's like both ways, right? The investor pressure makes it easy to like use it as an excuse, and they're very willing to use it as an excuse. So it's like a two-way street.
I do agree to some degree because if you're like, okay, if you're a visionary and you could get the investors to go along with this. Like if you're a visionary, you could be like, listen, I guarantee that this game is going to explode and it's going to be the big thing and everyone's going to buy it. But you're going to need to give me time and you're going to need me give me full creative control. And I think you could, if you were a visionary, you could get the investors to be like, all right. But the scary part about that is if the game flops, you're done. You've lost your job.
Yep.
So like, yeah, I agree. Like you could, if you were a pure visionary type
Or-
guy, you could go to say,
Yeah.
listen, fuckers, no one can do this but me. I'm the king. I can make this happen. Shut up. Give me your money. And this is going to be a smash success. Like some of the old school, like big directors and shit could do that. And the investor would be like, all right,
Yeah,
like
like,
Tarantino,
yeah,
for example. Tarantino can roll in to a Hollywood studio because he's like one of the only really stably financial auteur type directors and be like, listen, all my movies fucking make money. Everyone loves me. So shut up, give me your money, and I'm going to make my last movie. He could do that. But if you're bald dude with no artistic vision and no creativity, yeah, that's scary. So you're not going to do that.
The fucked up thing in games though is that like I feel like outside of the studios the directors do build cred, but inside the studios they do not. Well, and when they do, in the case of Konami, it fucking backfires with Kojima. But like, it's so fucking common to see a director like put out banger after banger after banger. Then they release like 3 shitty games and they're fucking out. They're like completely alienated. They're kicked out. And like the studios not realize what they have in their hands. Do they not have any inclination to keep their talent going? Like fucking for all their faults, Nintendo actually does that shit.
I don't know. I'm a little bit divided on this myself personally because I know what you're saying, but at the same time, I feel like if you are a director, I think you do need to feel that sense of like, I have to make this fucking good. Because that's what makes games fucking good. If you have like tenure at a studio, right? So let's say you work at Nintendo, you're what Miyamoto, and you have basically tenure there.
Yeah.
You start to churn out like, oh, wouldn't it be cute if I had a game about this? Or oh, wouldn't it be kind of fun?
Yeah, but look
like,
at the flip side.
It loses its edge.
Yeah, but look at the flip side. You know what? That cute little like, oh, it wouldn't be cute if I did like a little game that no one cares about. You know what that describes? Fucking God Hand. Because Mikami is like, okay, I made Resident Evil. I'm gonna just do whatever the fuck I want now before I get canned and leave Capcom. You know.
Yeah, I get it.
It's
but
like
I
a
feel
it's like a mixed bag, I suppose. Well, I
that's
feel
what I'm
like
saying. Like, it can work, it can, but it can also backfire, and you
I
get
just feel like
really
I just feel
Mario
like
Striker 7 or whatever.
yeah, I feel like if you have like a proper visionary who's really passionate, it won't affect them as much as like those more worker types. You know, more like okay, I'm good at
No,
designing, but I'm in it
I
for
think
huh?
a more a better thing, but this is a little bit less realistic. But if you had a really talented team and you had some guy underneath the director who's really hungry and like, okay, if you
Oh
fuck
yeah,
up,
yeah, like
I'm the director now.
yeah.
And so there's like a talent pool there that pushes the director to keep on his toes.
Yeah, something
Because
like
if he fucks up, some dude's gonna roll in and take his job
yeah,
and
some kind
actually
of
do a good.
some kind of like a competing directors system, you know, where you have
Yeah,
where you have directors
exactly.
competing for it. Yeah, that would be pretty interesting. So
Right, rather than having one big guy that's like, oh, I'm in charge, have like different studios that compete with each other. I think Sega did that with like AM2 and AM3.
I wouldn't
They
be
kind of
surprised. Yeah, you can
they
have
kind of
like
like
a
competed and pushed each other. That way, if the guy at AM2 starts making shitty stuff, like, oh well, we'll give your projects to AM3 then. So he's like, oh fuck, I better.
we're gonna have to research the internal composition of studios sometime, like bigger studios.
That,
That would be really fun,
that
right?
would,
Yeah.
yeah.
See like they work, how the hierarchies work, what the competitions are like. Because maybe a lot of studios do that, and it kind of just sucks. You know, I don't fucking know because it's like complicated and sometimes.
I don't think they do anymore. I think they used to.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay, let's see. Let's see
Because
with
had
Kane.
different divisions. Like you had the guy, the arcade division, the console division,
Yeah.
the beat 'em up division, whatever.
All right.
And so I'm not trying to criticize it. I'm just setting it up to contrast it with a different approach.
How do the hierarchies work at Bog Hog Studios? It's like a very linear top-down hierarchy.
Motherfucker.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm the dictator. I'm Stalin, dude. I'm a fucking rule that shit with an iron fist. No one escapes my wrath.
That we've now had to adopt for Destiny. So if that's the boxed product approach, then what is the service approach and mindset by contrast?
Let's see.
And more than anything else, being a service is about being...
It's a monarchy.
For a live service, more than anything, more important even than quality, a live service is about being fast. Like back in 2010, you could have
He literally said that, dude. He just said that.
Whoa, what? More important than quality is speed.
Yeah, being fast. I think
he's truthful. I mean, that is true how they operate. Because think of how they launch games, right? They launch those fuckers on time.
Yeah.
Now, are they finished? No.
No, eventually, Yeah, eventually.
So that's so interesting. Probably because like missing a deadline, if you're a publicly traded company, is like, oh my god, it's a huge problem because it fucks up the marketing. So it's like we can't.
Yeah,
marketing budgets are like almost as high as the fucking game, so you can't fuck up the marketing budget.
Yeah, like I think his idea is, like if you're fast, the quality will follow eventually or something like that. Because but I don't fucking know. It's like make it past the deadline and then try to make it good. That's what he's saying, I think.
Yeah.
Like just
that is what
that is what the games are like. Yeah. It's not about quality. It definitely. Maybe he did say quality like that intentionally. Because yeah, I'm pretty sure he did. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he did do that.
Next level, and he's like inceptioning you because he did say quality, like quality.
Yeah. I think the idea is like it's a concept that he wants to really interrogate, sort of. But the problem is, I don't know what he means by quality, right? Because I feel like if you pushed him, he would say something like, "Oh, well, obviously the game itself should be good." I'm just like talking about like visual polish, bug fixing, that kind of stuff. Yeah. But I feel like, it's like a very loaded term. All right.
Long-lasting, high-retention game. Just by releasing something that was super high quality, really well balanced, and unchanged that players kept coming back to for years. But
wait, what is he saying?
High retention game is about being fast. Like back in 2010, you could have a long-lasting, high retention game just by releasing something that was super high quality, really well balanced, and unchanged that players kept coming back to for years.
That's fucking grim, dude. Like he's saying that this was the past when that was viable, and now it just doesn't
I
work.
think I'm going to be a little charitable to him, actually. I think what he means is back in the old days, you could get away with that, but because of the shifting demographics of our society, where people, they want constant drip feeds of content, you can't do that, which I think is
Yeah, I
true.
know, I know.
It's sad.
That's why I'm saying it's sad, right? It's not like I don't think he's saying it maliciously. I think it's like a reflection of the fucking FOMO culture that I always complain about,
Yeah,
and that's why it's gonna
like
keep
in
getting worse.
2010,
That's why it's gonna
yeah,
keep
like
getting worse, and it's like a
release
yeah, it's
or
like a
whatever.
two-sided feedback loop as well because it's like the developers do that shit. They encourage players to view games that way, and the players push developers into developing games that way. So
Yeah,
there's no clear way out for any of this shit. All right.
call that bug. We call that a codependent relationship.
Oh
That's
yes.
what we call it.
Oh yes. Okay, let's go.
High retention game just by releasing something that was super high quality, really well balanced, and unchanged that players kept coming back to for years. But to stay afloat as a service today, you need to be constantly feeding your players. You need to be responding to their concerns. You need to be making the game better. And so if box products are in the business of over the
That is very fucking perverse incentives right there, because literally the players need to feel like a sense of forward momentum, and it's by definition easier to do that when your game is kind of shitty than it is
Yeah,
when your game is
yeah,
great. Yeah.
yeah. Well, you know what's sad is this has trickled down to even the indie market.
Oh yes.
I will bring this example up till I die. Which was I just couldn't believe it was the Final Vendetta,
Oh
where
yeah.
the Steam reviews got them to remove the 1cc requirement. They were bullied into, well, not bullied because they could have said no, shut up, but they were pushed, incentivized into saying, you know what, okay, we're going to drop this aspect of our game, which I would consider an artistic aspect, in order to pander to the lowest common denominator.
Yeah.
So this isn't just big AAA games. This is trickled down to small, supposedly niche genres.
Yeah. Well, and that's something I'm really afraid of when it comes to indie games, where people bring that fucking live service mentality. And like, for example, I told you, right? There's a video which is a guy reviewing a fucking free patch update, which is like complaining that they didn't add enough optional features. Like it's not that the patch ruined something; it's just it didn't add enough. And it's like, what the fuck, dude? Like, what the developers like, and there's like an entitled tone to it. It's like games like the players themselves don't fucking view games as finished. They're like they're like a small fucking stepping stone for them. They should like keep getting updates and updates and updates. Nothing's allowed to be released. Nothing's allowed to be like kind of shitty.
Yeah, well, see, I want to agree with fully, but the thing is like I said, this culture has come down to indie developers because I've seen indie developers release basically unfinished games with the promise of, okay, no,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
because of budget restraints and stuff, I promise I'm going to finish this.
Case in
And
point.
so indie developers have created this for themselves too. They do this shit too.
Case in point, Mingo mentioned Vampire Survivors, and I believe Vampire Survivors is using that kind of live service model as well. Because I believe it got like a lot of updates with more and more fucking weapons, more and more characters, and more, especially story. I remember there were like big story updates and shit. And it's like everyone's they're trying to make early access the norm instead of like the fucking abnormality.
But you're not criticizing Vampire Survivors, are you? Just to be clear.
Oh yeah, of
You're
course
doing
not.
that.
Of course not. Vampire Survivors is a
Little-
shmup bullet hell masterpiece.
Yeah, I was a little nervous there that you're criticizing it, so I'm glad you've cleared that misunderstanding.
Yeah.
delivery. Live service is the business of constant.
McLuhan's the medium is the message, and Gerard's mimetic theory makes all this make a lot of sense, lads. Very little to do with any current year stuff. It's not like these tendencies are new. It's more like the tendencies are accelerating because of the feedback loop of like the internet and fucking culture, and how fast everything moves. Because
It's like newly enabled, right? Like the guardrails have been taken off because
it's just
back in the day, see kind of precursors of this, like Street Fighter 2, where they like keep releasing it 12 different times. Like, oh, you know, we added Cammy, and oh, now we got this and that. There's like precursors to this, but now the way, because of the internet infrastructure, now it's like, oh, we can do it now.
Yeah, it's just like all kinds of shit. Like, yeah, like oversaturation.
Humans aren't different, but we can do different stuff.
Yeah, just, you know, like the kind of environment we're in changes how we process shit. Okay.
Delivery. And to provide that constant delivery to players, you need to be fast. You need to be as fast as your organization.
Also, see a tank.
And so at Bungie, one of the key lessons that we codified here to shift our mindset is that velocity is more important than position.
Oh, yeah.
Like, your position is your game's quality, right? How good is it?
That is rough, dude. Velocity is more important than position. Viewing game development in terms of velocity, like creating velocity, creating a sense of forward momentum in the player's mind, basically.
And you know what this comes from? I was talking about this with you, maybe in another stream, maybe just one-to-one, which is this whole psychological view of game design. I'm such a critic of it because this is what it gets you. Because they know psychologically this is effective.
Oh, yeah.
So people message me and say, hey, what do you think about these psychological concepts in game design, and how would they fit into your theory of game design? Like, well, no. Because
think about velocity. I'm guaranteeing you that the velocity won't be like a concept that's internally defined within. Like, they can't objectively define the velocity. What they'll define it as, like, people's perception of how your game is going, like the momentum your game is accruing. That's how they'll define it. So it always will come back to creating like a perception in people's minds as a type of marketing.
Basically, video games are a decade or two behind casinos with game design theory.
Well, that's what I'm saying, right? Yeah, I had a whole fucking angry rant yesterday where I was like, okay, games like Vampire Survivors make me think that, like, what is game design? Is game design literally like are all games like just shitty, imperfect versions of digital drug? Is everything we make just like an imperfect variation of a drug, you know?
Well, they're aiming to be. I don't think they have to be that.
They don't have to. Yeah, but then what do you replace it with, right? What is the alternative?
I would say, you know, to sound corny, but artistic expression. I think that's the only other alternative.
Yeah, well, you know,
but he kind of scoffed at that model of, I want to express an emotion through the design and mechanics of this game. I want to get players to not just like passively feel things to keep them entertained, but like I want to impart an expression to them. I want to impart some sort of, I don't know what you'd say, but like some sort of meaning to them.
Yeah.
But because games are such a highly abstract medium, that expression is going to be somewhat abstract. That's the thing that I don't think that people don't talk about when they talk about game design, because everyone wants that expression to be something like, oh, nuclear war is bad, or something like that. But
yeah,
to me, I think that expression is more abstract, is more like a feeling that your mechanics can create, like the tension and release you feel when you're just kicking some ass in a beat 'em up or something. It's a feeling. It more so than like an intellectual proposition of
I feel like a good way to put it would be just to be selfish when designing games. Just to think about what you want to do and what you enjoy, what you want to do, what you want to get the person to experience. Not like
yeah. Well, I think that's all art. Great art is like.
Yeah, art is selfish. Yeah, and a lot of like.
Yeah, that's the whole point is to impose something upon the viewer, the player, whatever you want to call it, that they themselves would not be able to generate. You know, so when you're reading like fucking Blood Meridian or something, I'm like, whoa, this is fucking wild.
Yeah.
But, you know, that shit is not focus tested by any means. That's what I think games can do that as well. It's just not as fancy as, oh, this is a cultural commentary.
Yeah, it just feels more like childish visceral. When games do it. Well, visceral, yeah, but also it feels like, you know, it's harder to treat it seriously. People have a harder time treating pure video game expression as seriously because it feels like a, you know, kind of like a mature fundamentally immature, which is kind of fucked up.
Because it's abstract.
Yeah, it's really abstract, and it's like
a good example of this would be like jazz or classical music. Like classical music can get you to feel things that you can't quite put your foot on or finger on. Like what does this song make me feel? Because there's not any sort of intellectual content to classical music, but there's this emotional, visceral content to it that's kind of abstract. And I think games are like that as well.
Yeah, very much so. It's just, people, I feel like, because play is associated with, like, childhood and shit. It's like play is what we do before we, it's like a simulation of what we do before we grow up, It's like a primitive version of expressing something we do in adult life, whatever.
Yeah, well, I actually think that. I think adults play
in
a different way. Play. It is different.
Yeah.
So when you create games for adults, you need to treat them with that in mind versus creating games for children. I think they are distinctive.
Same thing that's your review of Mario Wonder summed up.
Yeah, that's my review of Mario Wonder right there.
Yeah, fucking clipped and shipped.
For a child, certain design principles work because it's a child. And then when you create a game for an adult, you need different design principles.
Shocking.
All right. Shocking ideas.
I can't believe your brain might have developed in those fucking 10 years or whatever that you haven't played Mario. Okay.
Does it have? How much content does it have to engage your players? And these are all important questions.
Wait, hold on. Gabo Jones said, well, games have this stupid dichotomy of is it art or a toy, which I don't reckon is useful for anyone on the side of it. I feel like there's a important distinction between a video game and a toy, which is,
there's a massive difference. The difference is massive.
Okay, let me think of how to put it. A toy is something like... Okay, a toy is something you engage with on your own terms and the ways you want. A game imposes a rule set on you, like in some way, right? Well, this is not really related to what you're talking about, but still, I feel like there's a... when people call them toys, you can be like, actually, the distinction between a game and a toy is quite important. You fool, you Philistine.
Well, actually, what blurs the lines is that some games
are
designed to be toys.
Minecraft. I call them digital toys. I call Minecraft a digital toy, and I would say that. Yeah, I would go even further, and I would say something like Devil May Cry 4 is like a digital toy almost. It's like a mix. It's like a hybrid, but yeah, it's leaning a little bit more towards the toy side of things rather than the game.
Modern game design is pushing them more in the toy direction.
Oh, yes. Yeah, because it exploded.
For me, what separates a game from a toy is a game has strict and rigid rules that you must abide by, and you must conform to these rules.
Oh, yeah.
Like chess. Chess is a game, not a toy, because it doesn't matter if you feel frustrated that this guy's destroying you and checkmating you. It doesn't matter how you feel. You have to abide by the rules of the game. That is a game. A game imposes upon you. It forces you to play by its rules, and you have to conform to it. And then that's an adult. Our minds respond to that structure because that is part of being an adult. Is you have to conform to some degree to the rules and environment around you, and then find your own way to navigate that. And that's like your individuality. And that's a game. A toy is, there's no rules. There's no restrictions. And you can kind of, whatever your emotions say you want to do, you can do. So I'd say that's the distinction.
Mingo says, you guys are so smart. My brain is processing more than when it went to college. Just the brain? You weren't present? Damn.
Just brain.
The brain swelling shit. Yeah, thank you for enjoying the stream. Come here to increase your brain size. You're gonna swell up like a tumor.
Well, the funny thing is I don't really consider myself as intellectual as a lot of people, but I think it's just there's a lot of artistic concepts that are just never discussed with games. No. So it does seem kind of like, whoa, because people don't view games as art.
Well, yeah, because you engage a lot more with literature critique side of things, right? That's where you come from. That's where you came from. So that informs your perspective a lot more, rather than the fucking rather than the fucking nerd shit. You're like a game theorist that can actually talk to girls. You know, that's the
The difference.
yeah, the big difference.
I think the fundamental difference is, like, my background is hipster bohemian art shit, not psychology tech.
Yeah,
that's the difference. I'm a deep, like, they take those personality tests. I'm like ultra hippie, open-minded type versus
you're
like
the
psychological and really like rigid and all that sort of stuff. So I think that's the difference.
high in openness, was it high in agreement? I don't fucking remember. Whatever, who gives a shit, right?
I'm maxed out in openness. It is literally, it cannot be higher.
Unless
it's the full level 99.
unless the game looks like. Unless
and the funny thing is, like, being really high in openness causes traits that people view as like, oh, this is kind of degenerate. Like, one of the questions is like, you walk into a messy room, what do you do? You know, and it's like, if you're like more, I don't know what the term is, but like a lot of people, the questions are like, well, I clean it. And my answer is like, just kind of hang out, I guess. Just like, all right, we're here to hang. If it's messy, fine.
Yeah.
And it's like, then one of the questions is like, how do you feel when things are disorganized? And it's like, great. You know, great. I love it. Sure. Why not?
I think your toy Satramorn Kervilli says, I think your toy versus game is a false dichotomy. I literally play a game that uses toys more accurate. Well, it's not like it's you got to make a distinction between what you impose upon an object, how you use it, and what it nothing. No object is inherently a thing. It's how you engage with it, right? You can engage with those toys, those like little models, they're called, as a game if you follow a strict rule set. That's what distinguishes Warhammer 40K from.
Here's another way to frame it that might be useful. Is a computer a toy? Is a computer a toy?
Chat. Start sweating. This is a big question.
Well, the answer I think is actually really simple.
Yeah, it could be. It could be.
It could be a toy, absolutely. When my kids use a computer, it turns into a toy.
Oh, yes.
But is that the only thing a computer can be? Or can a computer do all kinds of other things?
It's not. And so, guys, you're focusing too much on the inherent property. There is no toyness in an object. There's no such thing as like a fucking toy particle. You pick up, this chess piece. It has a toy smell. You know, there's no such fucking thing. It's how you engage with the object, right? And we generalize it based on the. Huh?
I hand my son. If you have children, you can see this in real time. If I hand my son my keyboard, it transforms in his hands into a toy. If you hand him, I could hand him a fucking like a debit card or something, and in his hands, it will transform into a toy. And children have that real ability to transform things into toys because they are outside of the control of the adult world of like purpose,
convention, right?
Convention, yeah. So a child, you hand even money. You could hand a child $5,000 in real money and hand it to them, and they will treat it like they treat Monopoly.
Oh, yeah.
Because outside of the bounds of the adult world. So it is real, literal money can be a toy to a child. But you hand me $5,000, bullets start coming down my head. I get out a suitcase and immediately lock it, and so an adult will respond to money differently than a child. And I think that's games.
Yeah, games and when we talk about like is this a toy? Is this a toy or is that a toy? We're not talking about like the fucking property it has. We're talking about like the generalized conventional usage. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah, and so games. Minecraft is a great example, can literally be made to be toys.
Yeah.
And like with that idea, I want to make something that maximizes toy usage by removing rules, by removing consequences, by removing like structure. And children will really respond to that. They'll really like it. Yeah. And I think that's perfectly suitable for children's games. But as an adult, I think that, at least for me, I respond much stronger.
That's because you lost your soul when you grew up, Mark. It's over.
Well, no, because the reason why is because it becomes a contest between you and the designer, and I think this is why adults like games, because it becomes a contest, a battle of will between you and the designer, and I think that's what great games create. Like Zodanpachi, it's a battle of will between me
Who will break? Yeah, who the fuck will break?
And I have to follow his rules, but I can also start to push them and try to break them and subvert them with my own will. And that's what's fun, and that's what's interesting. That's what I love about great game design, great arcade games, is there's nothing more glorious than when you're playing a really hard game and you find something, you're like, oh ho ho, you guys didn't think about this shit, did you?
Oh yeah.
There's just nothing exciting than that.
Yeah, well, that a good example of that would be exploration, like in a really general sense, right? Like exploration means more when you feel like the designers have no fucking idea what you're doing to their game. You can take ownership over your victories and findings. Also, okay, let's see. What is the topic of this convo? There's a topic, just okay, but
this Bog and Mark. This is a snapshot of what our conversations are like.
Yeah, just wandering. Yeah,
ramble about things.
That's why I think it's more accurate. Saturn Morn says that's why I think it's more accurate to say game versus activity, because technically a player's character in a game is a virtual toy used in a game. It's not. No. But a game.
To be fair, let's be fair to our listener here. I think the word toy is a very emotionally loaded word. And so, like, it can feel very dismissive, to call something with a certain style of design a toy.
How do we call it? An object?
Because it's so linked to immaturity and so linked to baby. You're a baby,
yeah, true.
Right?
True, yeah.
Like,
it's
if
like an emotionally loaded.
I say you enjoy Minecraft. I say you're.
Yeah. I'm fucking set. I fucking said, oh, you play Minecraft? That's not even a game. That's a digital toy. Right.
But what we're getting at here, you can change the word. I'd be fine.
Yeah, it's like an object that you use to fucking play, like not play, but like express yourself.
Or without consequence, I would say. It's how I think.
Something like that. Yeah.
Minecraft game. On a lot of these types of games are games without consequence. And then there's games like Jodanpachi with very strict and rigid consequence.
Yeah.
And I personally respond much more to that.
Okay.
Because
yeah,
go ahead.
Well, because you need that like mental game with the. I wanted to say that we're drifting off course, and we haven't watched the video in like 3 hours now. So let's wrap up.
I'm getting some great exercise in. Let's not forget that.
Okay, goddamn.
Shedding the pounds as we speak. We're not only exercising our minds, dear chat.
Okay, hold on. Saturn Morn is saying, I'll agree that toy is a loaded word, but that's also why I think game versus toy is a false dichotomy. Okay, well, see, the problem is you say game versus activity. Where's the distinction? Every game is an activity. Every engagement with the toy is an activity. What's the distinction there? What's the meaning of that distinction? Besides, like, rules, activities don't have that structure necessarily, but activities is literally anything you do. What meaning does saying that a game versus activity have? What meaning are you trying to convey when you make that distinction?
And the fun part about this pairing is that Boghog is very conscientious.
Conscientious, yeah.
Of these types of like larger concepts and philosophies. Versus me, I always like to gravitate towards the most potent and striking phrasing. So game versus toy to me, even if it's like psychologically, philosophically incorrect in some way, it's just such a potent way to think about it that I like to say that. But
words don't mean things. People mean things. Okay. Okay, you got what we're talking about, right, Saturn Morn? That's the big question.
I just want to nail the concept.
Yeah, you understood. You understood. Yeah, you like emotionally. You understood. Like, there's some emotional fucking content we wanted to convey, and we conveyed that emotional content. You felt things that we wanted you to feel, right? You feel that way.
Okay. There you go.
Okay, yeah, whatever.
because I get bored very quickly. This is why I did really bad in upper division philosophy, because I'd go to my professor and be like, but it sounds better, you know, because I'm very sensitive to language, right? So I'm like, but your way of phrasing it sounds stupid and lame, and my way of phrasing it sounds good. So let's go.
Yeah, it sounds punchy, you know. Toy is very subjective.
It catches the attention. Yeah, exactly.
Toy is very subjective. Well, yeah, that's the point. The game is also very subjective in a lot of ways. Because, like, if you don't sign up to its rules, you can just, like, stand still or some shit, right? Even if it advances, you can fucking hang out on the game over screen. Like, you need to engage with it. And through engagement, it changes its nature.
Bog, you can verbalize this better than me, but I think we both agree that, like, art critique, game design critique, it is all subjective. So it's just a question of, like, what subjectivity is more compelling or something like that.
Yeah, it's like let me just fucking say it's like dude, it's like listen, it's like in philosophy you have coherentism, you know? You have coherentism where instead of having like an overriding theory of truth, you compare different theories of truth for internal consistency. And whichever can be more consistent and be more explanatory and more elegant and shit is more preferable, you know?
Exactly. Yeah. That is exactly what I was getting.
So real. So fucking real. All right. Fucking Bamd is dropping in with a hot take. Shmups are disposable. This motherfucker played Diojo for like 200 hours.
Bamd is I'm trying to put a good word to it, because it's like a character type that I'm very intimately familiar with, because I'm kind of like that too, to a degree, where it's like, if you really start to connect with something, your first instinct is, I just want to obliterate this fucking thing. You know what I mean? It's
yeah. So it's called contrarianism, Mark.
Yeah, it's like the deep. He's like a step ahead of us with the contrarianism. Like we're level 3.
Yeah, Bamd is like step ahead. Yeah, he comes in, drops a fucking shmup hot take. I'm like, Bam, do you fucking even enjoy video games? Do you even like video games? Do you even fucking like? Do you have fun ever? All right, but you know, okay. Question for Mark: when playing a new shmup, how do you learn the mechanics of a game? All right, dude, come on, please, don't fuck it. That's a big discussion. Go to Mark's. Wait. Go to Mark's. Wait, Mark. Listen, I'm your fucking agent here. Go to Mark's Q&A stream and do like a payment chat. You know, that prioritizes the question. There we go.
We're outsourcing the money payments, motherfucker.
Oh yeah, Italian. Like
I'll give you the sized thing is. I try to just. I'm not the best at, first of all. Like the god tier guy at this is like Pearl and Jamers and Kiwi.
Oh, I checked Pearl's videos. Yeah.
They're like way better at this than I am. But what I try to do is, I'll do this in beat 'em up. So is I try to just test for certain restrictions to see if the game's going to restrict me from doing it. Like first thing I do is like, okay, what cancels can I get away with in this game? Like step 1. So I'll start to do punch combos. Like, well, can I turn during the punch combo? Can I jump during the punch combo? So with shmups, what I'll try to do is I'll just try to test out what the game's going to let me get away with and what it isn't going to let me get away with. I'm trying to think of like specific examples of stuff in shmups.
Well, first thing you want to do is probably like figure out how many of the conventions this game hits and how many it doesn't.
Oh, this is so basic, but invul frames.
Yeah.
So like for a bomb and be like, all right, how many invul frames does the bomb have? Does it have any? You know?
Yeah, where's the hitbox at?
Figure out if it's a shot, you know, like what shot is, how strong is concentrated shot, how strong is spread shot. So sometimes what I'll do is I'll just hold spread shot and see, okay, can I get away with just spread shotting all the time, or is it going to make me concentrated shot in certain enemies?
I feel like that only matters if
that would be my strategy, my advice, like in a nutshell, is like see what you can get away with and what the game will let you get away with.
Well, I feel like this is too high level. This is good if you're doing guides. This is good if you're doing deep analysis videos. If you're just playing, literally just play. Don't overthink it. Don't fucking just like play and you'll see. Okay, I keep dying at this. What can I do about this fucking point? Like you don't need that. technical.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
That's a great point. There are like some shmup players like sit down and like really research the game. I don't ever do that. I just play until I get into problems. Then I go, okay,
How do I solve
fix
this? Yeah.
So, one good thing, okay, here's actually some good advice that's pretty simple, is when you're first playing the game, don't bomb or don't like use resources, and just to get a feel for how the game plays. So like when I'm playing a cave game, the very first, or bullet hell for the very first time, I'll like ban myself from bombing just to get a feel for the patterns, get a feel for what the game wants you to do, how hard the game is, and then I route for bombs later. That's one thing I do.
Yeah, a good way to figure out a pattern in bullet.
Don't try to clear the game the first time you play it. Don't play it to clear it when you're first playing it. Play it to learn what it's going to do. And like, don't be afraid. Like, a good example of this is like maybe in stage 3, there's a really hard boss pattern, and your body, your whole soul, begs for you to just bomb the pattern and move on with it. But what you could do, and what I do, is I'll just credit feed that pattern and just not bomb. And if you have to, so your first few playthroughs, you're credit feeding like a motherfucker. But what you're supposed to be doing in those first few playthroughs is learning like the patterns and layouts.
Getting
and
fucking
stuff.
curb stomped until you learn. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
it's
be
like
open to getting curb stomped immediately. Basically,
it's like one. Yeah. Okay. So here's a good fucking rule of thumb. Like, think about how you learn other difficult games, how you get good at them. And like, do you enjoy doing checkpoints? Do you enjoy doing like full stages? Do you enjoy grinding specific parts? Do you enjoy studying? And just recreate that with save states and shmups. Recreate that experience. If you enjoy, like, if you play a Ninja Gaiden 2 and you enjoy like bashing your head against the wall until you pass it, then like load up a save state, stop yourself from bombing, limit the amount of lives you can use, and just play the fucking section until you can clear it with those restrictions, right?
Also, don't allow yourself to get mad or frustrated for like 3 hours. So the first 3 hours of gameplay,
just take breaks.
Just for the first 3 hours or so, be like a Zen monk and be like, whatever happens, we're just learning right now. We're in the learning phase. Just don't. Because if you open I know a lot of people do this, though. They open a shmup, they get fucking curb stomped in an hour, and they're like, fuck this. But if you just make yourself have a rule, like, okay, the first 3 hours of playing, I'm just going to accept whatever comes my way. If you think the game sucks, then don't play it. But if you're like, oh, I can tell the game's good, but it's hard, I'm talking more about difficulty.
Yeah.
Yeah. If the game's good, I did this with Gunbane, right? Like my first playthroughs with Gunbane, I was just like, whatever happens, I'm just we're just rolling.
Just chilling, just rolling with it, and take breaks. If you feel pissed, just take breaks. Like, that's the thing with shmups. That's the thing with like,
the first 3 hours, like, say can't, because you're just, all you're doing is it's like research. You're researching the game.
The exploration phase.
You're not even playing right now. You're researching, and then when you kind of get the feel for it, then you can be like, all right, now it's time to play. And then you like you flip the switch into gamer mode, and then you can start getting mad and frustrated. But
the big thing with shmups is
you're just researching. That's all you're doing.
Yeah, with a lot of arcade games, I feel like the one of the things is they don't have that overarching structure that keeps you going that modern games have. So you have to kind of construct that shit on your own terms.
When you start getting better, you can even like literally take notes. I started to do this. Like, I'm pretty sure when I was playing Sailor Moon for the first few hours and I got to the last double boss, the 2 boss with the timer.
Yeah.
And I timed out. I remember like even making like a note, not physical but mental, like, oh, I'm going to have to carry bombs into this section.
Yeah.
And start to like, but you try to think about it more of a macro sense rather than think of it getting caught up in the individual parts. Think of it like a whole thing. Like, oh, okay, let's see what this is. And then you can like take little notes like, oh, this boss here is like fucking insane. So I better carry some resources into this. And
see, the problem with all this advice, it's like video game essays that they're giving developers advice. When you talk about this abstractly, it makes sense, but when you start playing, it doesn't matter. So literally just fucking play. Just like play, do things you enjoy in other games, simulate that, and just, if you're getting pissed off, just chill and relax and come again. Like it needs to be simple because it's simple fundamentally. We can like reverse engineer what we did, but we didn't like consciously go through those steps, right? When we actually played.
But a bit of like actual real practical advice that I think is good is do not get mad or frustrated your first few hours of playing.
All right.
Because these games are designed to catch you off guard. And so if you're letting them fuck you up that quickly mentally, you're going to get too frustrated. So the first 3 hours, do not allow yourself to get frustrated, and don't even play to win. Play to research and learn.
Yeah, you're a scout. You're a scout. You're researching enemy territory.
Exactly. You're scouting what's going to happen. Because unless you're like motherfucking beast mode, there are players like this who can like on the fly route and develop shit. But if you're a newer player, you can't. That's not going to happen. So you're researching enemy territory. Exactly. So don't get mad. Just roll with it for the first 3 hours or so. Don't even think about it like you're playing. You're just researching.
That'll be $15 for the classes, by the way.
Yeah, that's good bit of advice there.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Okay, let's continue with the video.
Okay.
But so much more important for us now is how fast can you change that position? If your players need more content, how fast can you funnel it into your game? If your game has an unbalanced meta, how long does it stay unbalanced? And if your community has a valid complaint, how quickly can you respond to that complaint?
Fast food restaurant, dude.
What?
It literally is like McDonald's.
Yeah, fast food. Yeah.
He's saying
service.
Like this fundamentally goes against my views of content.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to torture you with this video.
Yeah, because let's say you make Blue Revolver, right? An amazing shmup. And I message you and I say, Danbo, I love Blue Revolver. When's Blue Revolver 2? Or Blue Revolver Double Action? What you don't want to do is be like, oh my god, consumer demand, fast, go,
yeah,
go,
you're
go.
like, you're like,
whatever.
It'll come out when I feel like.
But what you want to do is you want to make sure that the additional content not only, I don't know if you can make like outright better additional content. Sometimes you can, but at least make it on par, or as hopefully as on par as you can with the original content. Otherwise, you're going to get these monstrosities of just content, and people play it and they're like, oh, this sucks. And then some guy's like, oh, well, actually, if you play 0.1 mode, it's good. You don't want that.
Yeah, and
want every part to be good.
Sometimes I hesitate giving feedback nowadays because, like, I feel like a lot of people think true feedback is going to be, false feedback is going to be poorly argued, but it's not the case. I can argue wrong things really well. I feel sometimes, at least. A lot of people who are good at like game design and like thought about that shit, they can argue for fucking bullshit that they will probably change their mind on in a few days or weeks. It will make it really sound really convincing. So you can't like even good sounding feedback. You can't always just fucking rely on that shit.
Yeah, I really wish there was a way to kind of make people understand like that. Your feedback as Bog Hog is like a style of feedback.
Yeah.
Like if you're a stylist, right? And I walk in and I'm like, hey man, can you help me with my outfit? I don't know if this.
Yeah, I'm giving my perspective ultimately. Yeah.
But what you're gonna get is you're gonna get Bog's sense of style.
Yeah.
So if you love style and you're like, I want to kind of look like you, Bog. I want to be like you. How do I do it? Your feedback is going to be like amazing for that.
Yeah, I got I got a mohawk.
But be a totally different thing, and you come to Bog, and because this is what I've run into with people giving people feedback is I feel like my channel kind of communicates a certain style of game that I like, right? Like a really visceral, like the whole big explosion thing with the Dead End City, where he felt like, no, I don't like big explosions. But I like big explosions.
Yeah,
so
not only that, but you will fucking argue that like you're fucking fighting for your life, and it's gonna be hard if they want to convince you otherwise. So it's like, and you don't. I don't want to fucking say that to someone. I'm like, oh, I don't want to give them feedback and then backtrack and be like, oh, well, but don't listen, don't take this serious. No, I'm gonna fucking bash my head against their fucking game and like until they listen to me. So like. It's like a preemptive warning, you know? People have to preemptively understand that shit.
Yeah, I think when you're looking for feedback, just keep in mind that the people that giving you feedback have a certain style that they are going to prefer. Now, I do think that like there's a lot of like not objective, but because that's get loaded, but like there's a lot of really sort of translatable stuff that no matter who you ask, it's probably going to be a good idea.
Yeah.
But then on top of that, there's going to be some stylistic stuff.
It's hard to know exactly when you're just whether you're a mad genius or a fucking idiot. You know, that's
exactly.
It's like you don't know. It's like you have to risk it basically. Sometimes you have to make the decision, and you never know. All right, okay. Let's see what other demonic shit. Oh, but Bam said I don't give feedback because I have very specific tastes. Yeah, this guy likes one shmup and that's it, or two shmups. Raiden Fighters and Dangan Feveron. That's it.
Raiden Fighters cool.
Yeah, I mean both are cool, but yeah, Bam fucking hates everything else. So you know, if you're another fan of Dangan Feveron and Raiden Fighters, you can ask Bam for feedback. He'll give some fucking good feedback on that shit. If you like any other game in the genre, probably don't ask him for feedback. Okay, let's see.
And this is why, in this important but like unintuitive way, I'd rather have fast than perfect. Because being perfect, even just being great, is your current position. But fast is your velocity.
Dude.
And a fast game will become great. But a great, slow
What?
Let's let him get through this whole point.
Yeah.
game will very quickly fall
want to
behind.
see if he can really pull it together.
So like, let's tease apart a tangible example for us at Bungie. This shift in our mindset to focus on velocity has meant that for our future games that we're building, we mentally shift a lot of our focus away from the launch of the product. Because like all of our industry experience and training, all that box product training has us traditionally laser focused.
Man, this is so fucking depressing to me, dude. I'm gonna share like with Gunvein when it like post release was the most stressful. Fucking, you would think, right? You release a game, you're like, oh fuck, finally, holy shit! Like it's an exciting point of the development. But when I released fucking Gunvein, I had to fix bugs. I was shitting my fucking pants every day, expecting something to go horribly wrong, like being insecure nonstop, checking through the code. You know, it's like, and they want to, oh god, and they want to extend that phase into perpetuity. Holy fucking shit, dude! Like, god damn it.
This is why, I actually fully support YouTube's decision to remove annotations, and I know people love the annotations.
Oh my god!
But I think it's good. I think it's really good that YouTube forces your video to stand as this is it. Because basically the way I have to do it is when I'm making a video, I know whatever I say is like locked into concrete. It's like I got to stand beside this point. So there's a lot of videos I do where if I feel like as I'm going through an editing, I feel like
Mingo posted L. Mark Mingo posted L. It's over. You can stop now.
Why?
Mingo posted L in chat.
Why? I hate
the ultimate. Why? I know. I'm kidding. Go on. Keep cooking, dude.
Oh yeah. But because basically, like having to make sure your videos are rock solid on release, and like you have to stand beside what you say. Yes, like at first you're kind of like, oh man, I wish I could just add in a bunch of annotations over the top and change what I have to say and be like, oh, I guess I was wrong here. Which, you know, you remember those days. You'd watch YouTubers and they'd have like 16 annotations, be like,
yeah,
you know, I guess this. But I don't know. I like you have to launch it and keep it in stone, and you have to.
If someone reposts it somewhere, it'll still work as a video, as a standalone video.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, it has its pros. Just I wish they like gave an easy way to bake in those annotations. Like if they decide the annotations are now going to become the subs of the video like permanently, right?
You can do that. I don't know if people know that.
Well,
you could move. If you had look at Jamer's channel. Jamer's did it. If you had annotation commentary, you now can put that annotation commentary into the whatever it's called.
But could you put existing ones? Could you like convert them basically?
No, of course
Oh yeah,
not.
well,
It's
see, that's
YouTube.
the problem. Yeah, that's what I mean.
We all know that.
Yeah.
But the actual transition process was a hot mess. I
Yeah,
was
yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, like if
I'm
the
saying,
I think for the most part people hate the transition process.
Yeah, but the actual change I like. The
Yeah,
actual change to have to put it, because now you get into this shit with like a Pazzy where like he put all these annotations into the video, but if you're not watching it on YouTube, they're gone.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Where if you cut them directly into the video, burn them into the video, they're there forever.
Yeah.
Or if you don't want to do that, you can put them in as a commentary track, and then that will easily translate over. You could like put that in VLC. You could take that commentary track from YouTube and put it in VLC, and it will appear there and work.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, yes, that's what I'm saying. Like, the transition process was ugly, but the final result I think is more solid.
All right.
And when it comes, anyway, my point about YouTube videos is, imagine the madness if YouTube videos worked like this. If you could like cut in segments into YouTube videos. So you watch an IGN review, right? And they see something ridiculously stupid. And then you're like, okay, I'm going to comment on this. Then you go back and like the video's different.
Yeah, the video is getting edited real time as we watch it. You know, we criticize an aspect. Yeah, we're all back. Yeah. We're like, wait, what the fuck?
What happened there?
Yeah. Fucking real time gaslighting.
Absolutely do that. I know for sure. People would absolutely do that because there's like two phases to a YouTube video. There's the launch, and then there's the battle in the comments section where you got to go in the comments and explain yourself.
Yeah.
If I shit talk Bayonetta, I know. Okay, I've got 2 days of battling people in the comments.
Yeah, your fucking wife is like just checking. Mark, what the fuck are you doing? And you're like, final one.
And from doing that while at home, which was good decision.
Now you gotta go into the toilet, like sneak in. I only have time for like 10 comments.
I have to like wait till my family goes, because I get heated. I don't just get heated. Comments. Steam is coming off of my head as I type in these comments. I looked over like, what is your problem? I'm like,
shut up. Oh, I mean, I'm sorry. I'm just,
I'm arguing. I'm arguing with people on the internet. It's like, stop.
Yeah, my fucking girlfriend does that a lot too. And yeah, everyone likes to pretend like they're, like they're cool-headed, like fucking cool and different when they're arguing. But no, like everyone's fucking like, typing, fucking.
You can keep the flames coming off my keyboard.
Yeah. All right. Okay, let's try to finish this, at least half of this.
From like day one on having the best possible game on the day it launches. That's what you're losing sleep over, is like what's going to happen when we finally get to launch day. But if you're trying to make a live service, we found you should actually kind of de-emphasize that launch in your mind. Like a much more important question is, what is your roadmap and release tools going to look like
this
for
is
the
my
first
personal
year
hell
after your game launches?
Dear God.
Because you can launch with a game that blows people's minds and is super high polished. Or you can launch with a game that has lots of promise but a bunch of like janky issues on day one.
Video for investors, or is this a video for the, like, is this an investor, like this guy's talking to investors, is that his audience, or is his audience gamers? Like
both. Well, it's stakeholders and shareholders, right? It's stakeholders and shareholders equally. The players are the stakeholders, the investors are the shareholders. So he's talking to those fucking two groups that.
This is GDC. So is he
Game Developer Conference? He's talking to other game devs, basically. How do you follow this business model? How do you be successful?
Got it.
Okay.
And the sifter that's going to determine which of those two games is relevant 12, 24 months later is their velocity. How many updates came out? How much better was the game getting each month? Because that is what builds and retains fans in 2022. And if you're optimizing for that, then the position that you're in on the day you release becomes less and less relevant, because it's just one beat among many on your way towards a perfect game. And the reality is, like, if you try to launch a new live service game in the 2020s, it's kind of like that Pixar quote. Like, a simple fact is, your game is probably going to suck at launch. And that's okay. Like, launch is not the end of your journey. Launch is the beginning. Like, no new game iterated on it.
Is he saying that all games should be live service? No, he's just talking about live service games and how they changed their design mentality.
Secret for however many years.
He probably would say that, though.
If what's that famous one, like Fallout or whatever? If Fallout comes out and it like barely, or Cyberpunk comes out and it barely functions, not a big deal.
Yeah, no
Not if
big
you
deal.
don't even.
Well, it wasn't a big deal for Cyberpunk because now everyone's jerking off over that game. Now they all forgave the issues once the DLC dropped. So, objectively speaking, realistically speaking, like the
Oh, he's right.
yeah,
Like
he's right.
he's
Yeah,
right. I mean,
he's spot on.
in,
Yeah,
in fact,
Satan's got a point. Fucking Kane over here is spitting, but it's just he's spitting some fucking evil shit. It's not
yeah, no,
like the problem isn't him. It's just the fucking industry sucks. He's not like he's not fucking. He's participating in, but it's just that's just how it is. That's literally how the fucking industry is.
well, you make your own industry, but my point is that it's not that we think he's inaccurate or incorrect in terms of how effective this is. It's clearly effective.
Yeah, clearly.
It's that what is the cost of the effect, right? Like you can get all kinds of shit to happen that's effective and just kind of be like, well, like look at Marvel, right? Like Marvel's clearly effective form of film movie going.
Casinos, gotcha games are effective. Drugs are effective. Drugs.
Casinos are effective. There's a lot of we're talking about what's the artistic cost of this mentality. What does it cost the art, the end product?
Yeah, let's go.
Which makes us
Yeah, this is just hipsters, that don't fucking.
Launch is not the end of your journey. Launch is the beginning. Like, no new game iterated on in secret for however many years can show up and immediately beat the existing live services that have had the advantage of being able to iterate directly with their community for 5 or 10 years. You don't get to win that battle on day one. But if you're focused on your velocity, not your position at launch, then the better challenge becomes how fast can you improve your game once you are in that same direct dialogue with your community? How quickly can you change your existing roadmap if you find something in the live game? Can you deploy weekly patches, daily patches? If you have a major exploit in your game, can you identify the issue, then triage it, test it, and deploy a hotfix in 24 hours?
Gosh.
Because if you're focused on those kinds of challenges.
Do you know what triage is, Buck?
Like an assortment or some shit?
Okay, so this is what I'm talking about. Triage is a medical term, or a term you use in warfare. And what it is, let's say, I think it comes from like one of the world wars or something, or the Red Cross or something. Let's say you've got 10 soldiers and all their legs are blown off, right?
Yeah.
But you've only got one doctor, and 10 of these soldiers are dying, and you've got one doctor, and you're in the middle of a battlefield here. What do you do? Triage is the idea of
Priority
like,
stack.
how do you help as much as possible with limited resources, but with the understanding that there's going to be some.
Yeah, it's like a priority based on compromise. Okay, I got it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it's just so funny that he used that term, triage, because again, we're talking about what the reference.
I kind of
points
spaced out. What was he talking about with the triage shit?
Oh, with patches. So basically, he's saying that your game is a festering nightmare on launch.
Yeah, now you're like a fucking medic at wartime. You're like, okay, who do we save?
Yeah, the mentality is not, okay, we're going to fix everything.
Yeah, some characters are going to get the lethal injection to end their suffering, Some characters got to go.
Yeah. Means we're going to hot patch this bitch as quickly as possible, and whatever consequences, we're just going to have to accept that.
Dude, this is
such a funny...
And it's such a funny... It's such a fucking nightmare working environment as well. Like, goddamn. Just like nonstop.
Oh my God.
Just
imagine working in this environment.
Yeah, like how fast will you fucking get burned out? No wonder he's bald. He probably came in like a year ago with a full head of hair. Now next year he'll do a presentation and his beard will be gray.
And he had no beard. He had no goatee either. He had like a full set of hair, no goatee.
Yeah, it was like a fucking clean cut family man. Now he's lost his hair and he's gonna fucking.
Remember Walter White at the start of Breaking Bad? That's what he looked like.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, dude. Hold on. Let me show you something. Witcher 3 developer. Witcher 1, whatever. Let's see if this will show up. Yeah, there we go. There we go. This is him, but now instead of several titles, it's over the course of like two years.
Oh my god, poor dude. He looks like he's seen some combat.
Yeah, he
Speaking of
is shell shocked. He's straight up fucking shell shocked. He's gone.
Oh my gosh! But imagine how big those releases are. Yeah, it's gonna be.
Oh yeah.
Oh chaos, man! It's gonna be pure
I would
chaos.
turn off the internet in my fucking house if I released a AAA game. Holy shit. Dear God.
Wasn't there like talk about how these guys had to work like crazy hours and stuff like that?
Yeah, it
Like,
happens. It happens. A crunch. It's pretty standard as well. Like to some extent, you'll just have to crunch. But you know, I mean, like even for indies crunches. I mean, back in the day, you know, arcade developers crunched a lot. But still, like at least there, it wasn't like a fucking. It was like they released a game and they could chill for a bit, right? Dear
exactly.
God.
That's what about YouTube. I crunch like a motherfucker before the video comes out, but once the video is out, it's out.
Yeah.
You know, I don't have to hot edit into the video. It's out. And whatever happens, I have to accept. That's what I'm saying. Like it's actually good for your mental well-being that you can't go back and revise your YouTube video. It's good for you that you have to accept what you put out and say, well, that's what it was. I have to accept that. Imagine night and day. Imagine my Bayonetta 3 review. If I could go in there and add points, I'm just like fucking hot adding.
Yeah, hot fixing like every single opinion. Yeah, it's like you just gotta admit, yeah. Well, that's probably also why a lot of video essays are so non-committal because they don't want to make strong points and dare I say be wrong. Okay.
Or just not even just be wrong, but like be unpopular.
Yeah.
Is it worse wrong or is it worse to be unpopular?
I don't even know. Yeah. Well, the worst is both because usually.
If you're a YouTuber, it's worse to be unpopular.
Yeah, okay.
Right.
Let's go.
People are meaner to you.
Building up that velocity before you launch, instead of just focusing on your position at launch, then your game will get to perfect with shocking speed. And you'll be making a game that is perfectly tailored to your community and built to last.
That is so funny.
So a bunch of this, like...
Why? Pause this for a second, Bob.
Yeah.
If you think about it, he's like, okay. It's so weird because he even says like, okay, at launch, you know, it doesn't really have to be all that good at launch. That's fine.
Well, because you would that's why I said it's a perverse incentive because it literally.
Here's the weird part though, because if he was just okay, I would kind of get it if he was like, you know what, it's at launch, and you know what, after launch, we'll just kind of keep the track.
Mewjam, hold on, Mark. Mewjam fucking committed a crime. Sattermorn posted, I hope Space Marine 2 is going to be longer than 8 hours, and Mewjam fucking deleted the message.
Mew's drunk with power.
Mew's not having any of that shit. The length mentioned positively fucking deleted that shit. Mistapped. I'm sorry. Now, Mewjam, we know what the fuck you're up to. Mistapped. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay.
Ew. Naked. Do not become what you hate.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't fucking.
Drunk on power.
Oh yeah. It's all right. Okay. Yeah. What were you saying?
I tried to talk to my mods about that. Like, guys, well, let's not get too mighty with our power here. We gotta.
Oh, dude, I'm gonna ban someone at some point. Yeah, I should use it more because you gave me mod powers. I should fucking ban some people in your chat. Just anyone who annoys me mildly.
Well, yeah, if they're out of control, you can ban them. But
yeah, out of control, like saying the wrong opinion in my presence.
Like I said, like Bam, for example. Like Bam's the contrarian's contrarian. He's a step ahead of us.
I wouldn't ban Bam. I wouldn't ban Bam. What the fuck?
Bam needs a guy who's a contrarian to him. So he's like, some guy on his Dangun videos is like, Dangun, please.
Yeah, he only plays NMK games. He's a next level.
The one guy's, Dangun, you should be playing. What's a more obscure?
Just NMK. I'm telling you, fucking.
Yeah. You should be playing
Thunder Dragon 2.
Thunder Dragon 2, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
But anyway.
You were saying something about how.
Sorry. I just think it's so weird because he's weirdly chill about launching the game. So I'm just imagining this kind of dev environment, right? Like a normal dev environment, you're scrambling, you're really crunching for the launch because you want the launch to be really good. But this is like, no, just don't worry about it. Yeah. So in a way, you're like, oh, I guess that's kind of cool. In a way, like you could have kind of a chill launch experience, and then everyone can kind of go out for drinks.
That's not gonna happen. Literally not gonna happen.
But he's like, okay, yeah, the launch is chill, but then you got to fix it immediately.
Yeah.
Fix everything now, fast, now.
Yeah, like, while people are yelling at you instead of preemptively. People are fucking yelling at you online.
Before you launch the game.
Yeah.
I mean, like, for your own crunch and sanity, like, why don't you just fix all these problems before the launch, and that way when
that's the perverse incentive, right? Like they're incentivized to make it worse actively, like to because if you're constantly pushing improvements, people feel like, oh, this game is going places, it's gonna fucking it's like building momentum,
because like that's gonna be hell on earth for your staff, because it's basically it's the equivalent of like you've got finals. And you're gonna study for finals 6 hours before the test or something. Like you had all semester to study for finals, and then you just cram that shit.
Yeah, and then finals 2 drops the next day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just pain. All right, let's go.
The big cultural hurdle for our team and our organization, one of the main themes that I'm going to keep returning to is about redefining success. Like, what is quality mean to you and to your team? And I don't just mean in terms of like business goals or KPIs or something. Like I mean in your bones, like in your heart. Why do you get up and go to work making video games?
Oh my fucking god, dude, that's so depressing. Holy shit! Like he's not.
Well, what is?
Well, he's saying. Okay. Let's listen to him. But he's like saying, don't just do this as a job. Believe it in your heart. Like he's fucking molding you like clay.
And for us at Bungie, for a lot of us, like it used to mean that feeling of seeming perfect, of being impeccable, being uncriticizable. That is all part of that box product mindset. But now we're instead focused on being fast.
He sounded so fucking depressed when he said that pause.
I know, he's like,
we're fast. Just
that's that
Freudian. That is all part of that box product mindset. But now we're instead focused on being fast.
Zoom in. Just
what's so funny is he sounds like when a lawyer has to argue for his client and he knows his client strangled his wife's death. He knows it. His client knows it. They both know it, but he's got to go up in front of the jury and be like,
he's gonna, my
client never laid a hair on her head. It's like
if he had hair left. If he had hair left, we'd see it falling down here, just in this frame. It's the remnants.
He's really trying to convince. I don't know. It's the way he says it. It's very textbook kind of manipulative talk.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, let's see.
The really tough part here, though, is that to do that, you have to get comfortable with public failure.
Oh God!
Like you have to get comfortable with all those failures and those.
Dude, look! How do you do this as a developer? Oh my God! It's literal fucking hell, dude. Yeah.
We need to talk because, as a friend and colleague, you need to get comfortable with public humiliation.
Yes.
It's gonna really help you.
It is true, but holy shit, dude! Come on, fucking hell.
Get comfortable with public humiliation. Just love it. That's why it needs to be in your bones.
Yeah, someone should make like an anxiety surrealist horror movie about game development at this point. Like Bo is Afraid, except for game devs. Because holy shit, it's just like goddamn, dude. All right, let's continue.
Journey from it being sucking to it being great. More of that happening out in the open instead of in secret at your studio. And this trade-off is worth making. Like it gives you speed. It lets you feel.
Dude, that makes no sense.
What do you mean?
He's acting the way he says in secret. That's some real manipulative talk there.
Oh, but the investors don't see it. Oh well, I guess they would, right? They would in reports and shit.
Okay. So what he's doing is he's taking something that's totally normal and healthy, which is revision and work on a product.
Yeah, well, he's reframing it for the...
He's framing it as something dark and sinful. Like, oh, you revise your product in secret? You fix bugs in secret? Why are you keeping secrets, man? What? Why are you ashamed of your bugs?
Yeah. Show the bugs to the world. Yeah, that's what I said. Like about like he wants you to feel it in your heart that that you have to be this way. It's not enough
and
to
he's
just
thinking about making a game normally. Like, oh, you mean like play testing and fixing bugs internally before you release the game? Like all composition? It's crazy.
Yeah, it is. Well, this is where
Nuts.
it's fucking all headed, dude. This is where it's all headed because these games are successful. The games we like are not. So that's how it is.
But do you think I've kind of felt though that this model is not sustainable for right now. What I mean is that if you want this games as service model, the natural consequence of it is all the other studios are going to collapse and one's going to eat all the other ones up. And there will be one ultimate winner.
Probably, yeah. Because now players play these games like full time, basically. Short stream attempt successful.
Right. So like eventually, rather than we see signs of this with like, what was it, Activision and Blizzard merged or whatever?
Mergers, just nonstop mergers.
3 guys popping off with don't you think that the natural consequence of this is that there's one to rule them all? You know how like Disney's kind of done this in films, like Disney owns everything.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
But then, but look what's happening with Disney. They just fucking destroyed cinemas. So it's like yeah.
Don't you think
it's not just
my money's on Microsoft. I think with all the Western studios, Microsoft is at some point is going to get them all, and it's going to be like the Disney of Western video games. That's my thought.
Yeah, well, you're saying it's unsustainable for like any individual developer, but then it's sustainable long term, unfortunately. Also, hey, Mr. Din, we're fucking talking about the apocalyptic state of video games. Have fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, but now you have access to meta strats, right? Now you have access to meta strats because if the goal is creating momentum, you can now deliberately funnel negative feedback towards specific flaws that you intentionally leave in, and then like fix them.
Yeah. Or if it's overwhelming, you just pay IGN not to review your game. There's that.
Well,
too.
yeah, of course, yeah. That is. Well, they're busy, dude. Come on, you paid? We can. They're busy.
Cyberpunk 2070, what is it? 2017.
This is whatever. 2022, whatever.
20XX, when Cyberpunk 20XX was released, that was a really busy time for IGN, and they just had, they had other things to do. But when it got patched, that's when IGN, that's when their schedule freed up.
Yeah.
Makes sense to me.
Well, and they probably reviewed the DLC and gave it a nice glowing review.
Yeah, it's a 9 out of 10. I checked.
I hope, Mr. Din said, I hope the indie scene continues to thrive when the industry crashes again. I don't think it's going to be a crash. That's the thing. I think it's just going to be like perpetual fucking unstable misery.
It's going to crash, but
the crash won't be like a big.
I talked about the video, the silent crash.
Yeah,
it's going to
that's the thing. It's like
you're not flames and explosions. You're going to see the slow merger of Blizzard with Activision.
I mean, arguably, you see it right now, right? Where like just the mass layoffs happening, mergers everywhere. You see this shit. It's not going to be a big explosion, and it's not going to be like a big game changing event. It's literally just going to happen, and it's just going to suck. Like maybe some studios smaller will benefit, but like goddamn.
But like, for example, what's the name of the studio that made Wanted Dead?
Soleil.
Yeah, I bet my money is that because Wanted Dead failed, that studio is gonna go away.
Probably.
And IGN and all these places, no one's gonna write an article and say, it's a shame this studio is gone because they had some good ideas and Wanted Dead was a rare example of a AA game that maybe we didn't like, but no, it's just gonna evaporate and everyone's gonna forget it even existed. That's what happens with these studios. They're just going to evaporate.
Yeah. And
then the big explosions, there's no way Activision isn't going to be like, oh, we're announcing bankruptcy.
Yeah.
It's going to be, we're selling to Blizzard.
Yeah.
And then all the YouTubers would be like, yes, or whatever it was, Microsoft or whatever. And they're going to be like, yes, that's a good thing. This is good. And Digital Foundry would be like, Microsoft's back, baby. You know, that's what it looks like.
Yeah, it's fucking rough, dude. All right, let's fucking go.
Back and iterate and get better faster. It makes the final product even better. But you have to be willing to take those lumps, which are a lot. If your ego, like ours, if your definition of success is...
Huh?
This is classic. This is classic manipulative talk. Because the way he says certain things...
Yeah, like it's like your ego. You're just, you know...
I can't exactly describe it and not sound like a paranoid asshole, but like I just know talking to people and being around people like this when people are speaking in a way that's disingenuous. And the way he's like, and you're gonna take lumps. And it's gonna be a lot. Like
yeah, well it's like a little bit
he's downplaying.
It's like paternalistic, right? It's like like fake paternalism. Yeah, I don't know.
Exactly. He's downplaying it like he's your T-ball coach. And he's like, son, you're going to go out there and, yeah, you're going to miss some swings, but it's for the love of the game. Like, that's the kind of tone.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like your dad talking about a bad... Yeah,
fake,
it's just...
Fake paternal tone, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why he has a goatee.
No, it's corpo speak, not mutually exclusive, mister.
An artist is tied up in that mystique of only letting your failure happen in secret. To give one
In
more
fucking secret.
example in this space, like broader than just developing a game, like I believe...
What?
He's framing artistic development as shameful.
Oh, yes.
He's framing it.
Oh, yes. Yeah, you're hiding it, dude. You're hiding your mistakes.
That's secret. That's dirty. That's like some Illuminati shit right there, man. Like... developing your game internally, that's like the Illuminati does that.
The elites, yeah, the fucking game dev elites who hide their dirty laundry from the public.
Secretly.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, the fucking Resident Evil 4 cultists, you know. That's the game devs.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why all those Illuminati references in Resident Evil 4.
Yeah.
The developers were screaming their warning.
Oh, well, they were signaling... you know how the Illuminati add like symbols into music videos? That's the developers. They're like, you don't even know what's going on when I program my game. You don't even know how this game worked. Yeah, okay, whatever.
The shift to an ongoing service-oriented iterative conversation is happening in every sector. Like, even with people's personal brands. This is why you're seeing so many more, like...
Cyberpunk. Meta. Oh, dude, I hate this. Oh, shit. Is that Pokemon?
Poor girl.
Oh my God. This is gonna fucking... Mark, you're gonna love this, I feel. Let's rewind a bit.
Iterative conversation is happening in every sector. Like, even with people's personal brand.
Huh?
I have a lot of sympathy for them. I'm not one of these guys that gets mad at girl streamers. Just so
no, but I feel like you're gonna love this because it's gonna get pretty meta about like the whole ecosystem of content creators and game developers. So this is tying us together, dude.
Okay, let's see it.
Yeah, okay.
This is why you're seeing so many more like public apologies from corporations, from celebrities. Remember, it's more and more of that failure.
Wait,
just
you
like
see
we had on Destiny.
Pokemon's public apology?
What?
What's her video say? My overdue apology.
I don't fucking know. I don't know. She did something. She did something.
But that's fucked up, dude.
Yeah.
Like, oh, during your press conference, be like, oh yeah, let's just look at the streamer's public apology and what I don't know.
7 million views. You know, it's not like it's a small thing, but like, you know, yeah, it's like, oh fuck, dude, it's grim.
Happening out in the open. And in success, it means by embracing this service mindset, you're getting to a better position even faster through that feedback, through that critique, and that extra transparency. That's honestly, like, I think not optional anymore to any highly visible brand. All right, so that was our first big learning, that velocity is more important than position.
What the hell is he even talking about? He's
What?
saying you can't develop a game internally anymore?
Well, he's saying that it's like a mix. You know, it's like basically early access being used industry wide for games. Like the release is just not an important milestone. It's just like a small thing, and you got to get used to basically viewing. Kind of like what I'm doing with streaming, right? People viewing how I develop games, except they get to playtest and yell at me. These motherfuckers in chat, they could like playtest. Oh, Bog, this dash doesn't feel good, and then they can yell at me while I develop. He's saying that in order for games to adopt this live service model properly, developers have to get used to that kind of like constant fucking stress pressure from the public, and they have to view their mistakes as like a public problem.
Bog, this is a legitimate question to you because you're a game developer.
Yeah.
If you legitimately messed something up in your game, like artistically, like there's like a big issue, is that something that you have to apologize for?
Hell no.
Exactly.
Hell no.
Right?
Yeah.
You can patch it. Why do you have to apologize?
Okay, maybe like in a world with no refunds, but you can get a fucking refund, idiot. Don't fucking yell at me. Get the fuck out of here. Get away, dude. I made a mistake. What's the problem, right?
I don't get it.
Yeah,
Why do you have to apologize for your game?
Yeah. It's like, wow.
Maybe if you like.
Well, I think the apology thing. I think the apology thing. He was just saying how brands cultivate kind of like service. They're like guaranteeing to people that people will get a good service going into the future by apologizing publicly and by airing their mistakes. Like by publicly making mistakes and moving on, versus not doing public apologies and then people have no idea. Like they don't have the security in their brand anymore. And he's saying the developer version of that isn't apologies, but like public improvements of games, like via patches, right?
I guess it's mind-blowing because he's first saying that you have to get used to public humiliation. He said that, and then it's sounding like he's saying you also need to get used to apologizing to angry people on the internet because Cyberpunk had
well, indirectly you're doing that by fucking patching the bullshit they fucking complain about.
But does he? I get it. But what I'm asking is, do you literally have to apologize, or does he mean that patching is like a form of apology?
Well, I think he's saying patching is a form of apology. But if you're a content creator, I think he is saying that you literally have to apologize. But for game dev, it's metaphorical,
Well, I don't know. Do they exist? Like, if you open up Cyberpunk and you go to like the Steam page, will there be updates with like apologies on it?
There are sometimes, for example, Golem apology, but this one is so funny because they AI generated the apology with ChatGPT, and it has like obvious spelling mistakes. Dear players, we would like to sincerely apologize for the Cyberpunk apology also. I think there was one.
Find it.
Yeah, I think there was. Yes, it is. There is an apology. There literally was. Oh my god, our fucking boy is back, and he's looking rough. It's the same developer as well. Never gonna give you up. Okay, that's not the one. This is the one.
Can you read it?
Yeah, and they had recalls as well, right?
You don't have to read the whole thing, but just like the opening.
First of all, we would like to start by apologizing to you for not showing the game on base
literally apologize.
Consoles before it premiered, and in consequence not allowing. Okay, but this is like deceptive marketing. I think they should apologize for that shit, to be honest. We should have paid more attention to making it play better on PlayStation and Xbox One. Second, we will fix bugs and crashes and improve the overall experience. The first round of updates, yeah.
Pause. Okay.
What do you mean pause? I'm reading it. Okay.
I'm pausing you.
Okay.
I'm like, because
hit the bog hog pause button.
Yeah, hit the pause button. Because remember what he said earlier in the presentation. He said, "Don't worry if you launch with bugs and issues. That's not a problem.
Yeah,
that's okay." So don't you think this is like some like fucked up cultist type shit where it's like, okay, no, don't worry if your game blows and has all these issues at launch because we're going to fix them. But when you launch, you also have to apologize for the condition of launch. So wouldn't that that's like setting you up for failure right there.
That's
Because
yeah.
it's like it's saying on one side of your mouth, it doesn't matter if your game sucks at launch because we're going to fix it. But you have to apologize because it's wrong. But how is it? If it's wrong, then why doesn't it matter?
Well, I mean, the apologies are like a step in the direction of gaining momentum, creating like a service mindset that, you know, creating expectations and promises going into the future. So the whole thing is like create momentum in the consumer's mind. So like the whole, it's like, but it is by design, right? Like,
but this
like
is
Mujam said.
Manipulating.
Oh yes,
Openly.
oh yes, it's openly designed. Oh yes.
He's saying in the start that it's okay to acknowledge and understand that there's problems.
Yeah.
And then he's saying, but when it launches, that's actually not okay, and that's going to upset your customers. But that's okay.
Yeah, because it builds momentum. Yeah.
But you knew that you
Oh
were
yes.
doing it. That's what. It's not a true apology.
Oh yes.
Because you know you're doing it.
Oh yeah.
You know, like if I rob you, and then I'm like, oh, sorry, Bob, my bad.
Yeah, then you kept do it again.
I legitimately thought it was my credit card.
Yeah, it's like psychopathic. You're like creating the expectation in my mind that you will improve as a person. You know, like when a drug addict goes like, "Oh, dude, I'm gonna quit soon." You know, like makes those promises disingenuously. Yeah.
No, like when they go to their mom and they're like, "Mom, I'm not doing smack anymore."
Yeah.
Like I've destroyed this family. I've seen that. I've seen what it's done to you.
Yeah, and they're back. Yeah, they're back.
But I need to get out of this environment, and I'm going to need $100 to stay in a hotel and just use that money in that hotel to get clean, get out of this apartment I'm in, because a lot of my roommates, they bring me drugs, and you know, it's an issue. So I need $100. I'm going to go to a hotel, and I'm going to detox. And then your mom gives you $100. You roll right back to your apartment and buy $100 in smack. Yeah. Knowing you were going to do that. That's basically what they're up to.
Yep, exactly. That's exactly what they're doing, yeah. Dude, fucking Jesus.
For the next part, I want to dive in deeper into what it means to really redefine success.
Oh boy.
Like I was saying about the Halo days, when you're really successful, it's really easy to not bother.
Success is public communication.
What did you say?
I want to redefine success, which he already did, which is public communication.
Yeah. Success is when you get pants live on stage and. Okay.
Yeah. Precise definition here, and I'd wager that for most people in this room, you probably define.
Mujam said it's about. I think it's about making the players think they have more power than they do. Yeah, it feeds into that social media loop, you know, where it's like everyone feels like they have a fucking meaningful voice. Doing nothing.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right.
Those petitions.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The petition. The fucking co-petitions. God, that'll never stop being funny to me. The fucking petitions, dude. make Ninja Gaiden 4. Bring it to Gaki back. Come on, dude. Just have some fucking dignity. Just take the L. You know, it's never gonna happen. Go fucking make a mod and be happy. Just, all right.
Some combination of two things. Whatever your chosen version of quality is, like that could be Steam user reviews or Game of the Year awards or Metacritic. People still use Metacritic.
All right.
I'm old.
Not going to mention anything else, of course.
Whatever that definition of quality is, mixed with
you can
some
buy
definition
a Game of the Year award. So that's an easy.
Well, Steam reviews, user reviews, Metacritic reviews, and Game of the Year awards. Whatever. Out of those are like, that's the space of quality to him. Like, there's nothing else, right?
And many of those things you can buy. So you can buy critic reviews, and you can buy Game of the Year. You can buy both of those.
Yeah. And the gamers are fucking dumb. So, you know.
Well, like, the Game of the Year is such an insider thing. It is so insider that it's, like, shameless.
Oh,
you could literally just buy a game.
Yeah, Jeff Keighley is...
I think Sifu is a nominee for fighting game. How do you think that happened?
Yeah.
Do you think people doing Game of the Year were like, oh yeah, Sifu must be a fighting game?
Dude, dude, it's an indie game. Don't look into the developer's history. Yeah. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Yeah,
it's an indie game. Don't worry about it. Yeah. I kind of respect because Jeff Keighley, he like fucking waltzes in on stage, and he knows what the fuck he's doing. He's just enjoying it. It's like, okay, Jeff, you motherfucker, I see what you're doing. You know what you're doing. You know that I know that you're what you're doing. So kind of respectable almost.
Well, I think Jeff Keighley and a lot of these guys, he views himself as an actor, I think, and so he's thinking of it like an actor. Like, oh, I'm an actor. This is an acting job, right?
Jeff Keighley, no. Jeff Keighley organizes a lot of that shit as well. He doesn't just present. He organizes a lot. He's like a proper insider.
Yep.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh, he's a very Dorito. Yeah, they called him the Dorito Pope because one of the early, I think in like 2012, he did he did a review. I forgot what game he was reviewing, but he was sitting like next to a big Dorito poster, and like it was sponsored by fucking Doritos and the dude,
X-Play did that stuff too.
Oh yeah, of course. Just
X-Play such an abomination. No one really cares. But if you back and look at X-Play, which I did it, recently, it's so clearly how heavily sponsored they are by Microsoft. It's hilarious how openly sponsored they are by Microsoft.
Yeah.
It's like every Microsoft game, 5 out of 5, and they're just like, yeah, it's really funny.
Yeah, at that point, it's so fucking shameless. You just can't help but laugh. Yeah, all right.
Reach. Like that could be financial success. It could be unit sales, or it could just be how like culturally impactful or big.
Oh my God, he did it.
Your game is with your chosen audience.
Actually said something interesting. Like his soul is still somewhere in there. It hasn't been crushed by the industry yet.
Why?
He said that part of one of the definitions of success was like how culturally impactful it is, how meaningful it is. Humanity's the human inside is trying to escape, but is getting shut. Dude, there's like a pause. There's like a lengthy pause as well.
But in order to adopt a service mindset, we've had to get a lot better at defining multiple axes of success and doing that very precisely. So let me start with our first tangible example. This is when we really started learning to.
Why does he talk like that?
What?
Do you think he went to like law school or something? Why does he talk like that?
I think
notice he ends his sentences.
But
He talks really weird. He says, like, he really emphasizes words oddly, and he ends his sentences in this kind of weird way.
It's the PTSD from player feedback, dude. I don't know. I'm not as sensitive to that type of stuff, but I'll try to pay attention.
Yeah, I'm very
sensitive and be more precise with our definitions. So remember this terrifying moment I was talking about in February of 2018. At the time, living through it felt like a stressful, real-life version of FTL, if you've ever played that game. Like, if your engine room is on fire and your O2 is
Jesus Christ, dude,
raining out through a hull breach and your shields are down, which of those is most important to fix first? Because if you get it wrong, your ship's going to explode.
This is so, like, textbook. This is such textbook speech preparation, it makes me sick. So what he's doing right here, so he's gotten through his sort of lawyer talk. Now he's trying to rap with the kids here. He's trying to get on our level a bit.
Oh, yes.
So now he's giving us this little analogy from some fucking game. And now he's going to, like, notice how he changed the way he talks, too. Where before he was incredibly precise and a little bit robotic and strange with what he said.
Now you're getting some fucking metaphors, like a...
As soon as he starts talking about this game, notice he said like. He said, oh, and like your shields.
Oh, it didn't. Damn, you're fucking laser focusing on that shit. Hell yeah.
Yeah, he's code switching here. So now he's talking. Now he's switched over to, what would you call it? Like commoner speech. So he's speaking like a commoner now. So he's going to say like, and he's going to speak. Look, he's going to talk less precisely. Watch.
Yeah, let's see.
And the mantra that we came up with during that difficult year.
Mantra? Uh-oh, Mark. Uh-oh, he said fucking mantra. Okay, let's go.
First trust,
I know.
then retention, then revenue.
Well, the FTL picture went away as soon as he said that, so,
Yeah.
we're just shoving that shit aside. Balcock, please look at his Moby Games credits and then remember how much he says we. Let's see. What is this guy? Bungie's Justin Truman. Fuck.
I'm getting a hell of a workout. I'm proud of myself.
Yeah, hell yeah, dude. Okay, so he did Full Spectrum Warrior, Saboteur as a senior programmer, gameplay lead, Halo Reach, engineering, something, Destiny. I mean, this is not.
He's moved up.
Well, no,
He's-
this is
whatever.
not. This is not bad credits. What do you mean? It's not like like lead gameplay programmer, gameplay programming, fucking senior programming, gameplay lead, engineering. I don't know what this means exactly, but probably like a technical. He attached himself to Bungie's successes. Well, yeah, but like he clearly is. You know, he's not a Halo guy, but he's clearly been in the company for quite a while. Probably, like he doesn't necessarily. He does. It's not like he. It's just that's how they speak. He's the representative. He's not talking about his own opinions, even though probably he is. But you know, it's not.
Oh no, he's not. No, he's not speaking for himself.
Yeah. He's just she's just a mouthpiece for Bungie, basically.
This speech is highly focused. Like he's speaking. This has gotten clearance. So whoever's at Bungie, his boss has.
Oh yeah, they looked over it and they're like, oh, this is.
He's not up there just letting it rock. Like, oh yeah, this is what we do, baby. No. Every word has been carefully screened and approved. You can tell. You can tell by the way he's speaking.
Yeah.
And the way he's like, no, like that's why I wondered if like he went to some kind of speech school or some kind of like law type thing, because he's speaking like he's presenting a case in court. I guess.
He's getting like a lot of bonuses for this, I suppose.
Well, he's moved up. Whatever he did before, he's upgraded.
Oh yeah.
He's upgraded.
But our first priority was player trust. Because we'd assumed when we built Destiny 2, the players who ran out of content would...
What the fuck? See, player trust.
Yeah, I'm definitely not that sensitive because I'm not like...
Just hang in there for like 3 seconds.
He does have some weird pauses, yeah, but like I'm not as... yeah, to me it just flies over my head. Okay, let's continue.
I'll drop my critique of his speech.
Because otherwise it's going to overwhelm the fucking video, I feel.
Happily leave and come back for the next expansion. But what they were actually doing once they ran out was they were sticking around in all of our online communities with these megaphones shouting to everyone to avoid this game because it sucked. And this was especially bad with streamers and influencers because we had literally hurt their livelihood.
Have fun dealing with fucking gamers,
a less
dude.
viable profession. So they were loudly and like understandably shouting their complaints to everyone.
What?
People, we need to drop this whole notion that gamers are like these
people.
Like,
yeah, they're not.
Gamers are incredibly easy to manipulate.
Well, yeah. I'm saying we need to drop the notion that gamers are people. It's very arguable, and I'm erring on, you know.
Not what I'm saying. But
what, dude?
Take it back. No. We need to drop this notion that gamers are like these radical thinkers. It's sad how easily manipulated gamers are. It's kind of sad, honestly.
Yeah, it is. It's fucking grim, dude. Okay.
Every viewer. And so we knew that we needed to solve these trust issues first. So we focused a lot of our early work on trying to repair our reputation with our players and our community. And our influencers.
God, it's so fucking hellish, dude. The way he like, imagine your job being dealing with these fucking mouth-breathing troglodytes on forums who complain about the dumbest shit ever, and being like beholden to them. You have to like, your reputation hinges on appealing to these fucking idiots. God damn it, dude! What an existence, right? What a fucking.
That's why he's to get used to apologizing and public humiliation.
Yeah, exactly. Like, god damn. All right.
We bumped to the top of our priority queue several early changes to the game. Not because our designers believed that these were the most important root causes to our engagement issues, but because they were vocal pain points in the community, and addressing them quickly would clearly indicate that we were listening and we were responding to our player community, and we were just trying to do our best.
And this is so fascinating.
Yeah, it is interesting.
That's so fascinating. Because he's saying that, he's just saying that whatever dumb bullshit gets the most traction goes right to the top.
Oh yes.
So this really does confirm a lot of stuff. Like, if you're wondering, do these like kind of stupid controversies really matter to developers? They absolutely
do. Yeah, they do.
Vice or whoever, if you get on Twitter or on whatever and you stir up some kind of dumbass controversy about a game, that is going to really matter. It's not just, the developers, it really matters to them. So that's interesting.
Yeah, Mr. Den, when we have a chat about the state of beat 'em ups, dude, I could probably send you a fucking link and you can come on sometime once I'm done with the video, because like we can just literally just talk, right? Not like I'm particularly not like I need to schedule this, but that's why I want to watch this video, because it's so fucking interesting, right? It's like all the suspicions that you had over the years just directly confirmed.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really enjoying this.
Yeah, and it's like the exact opposite. Yeah, it's like this after fucking video essays is like a gold mine.
Yeah, this is way more informative.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So he's really given us some information.
Yeah,
whether
like it or not, but like he's fucking cooking.
He is cooking. Yeah.
Okay.
Battle took us almost a full year, if I'm being honest. And that's also when we did stuff like we removed all of the microtransactions from some of our releases in that year, taking multi-million-dollar losses in the process, because the risk of losing more trust was so much worse at the time than the known loss in revenue.
Do you think, Bog?
What?
I don't conspiratorial guy with game companies a bit. Do you think they intentionally put in sort of like not like an option select, I guess is what you call it, with microtransactions, where they think, okay, this is going to work either way, because either we put in this microtransaction
and
gamers don't notice it and we make millions, or if they do notice it, we can immediately pull it back very quickly, and then it makes us look like we are.
Well, that's what I'm saying about meta strats, right? I was saying like how we can intentionally bake in features that will piss players off and then fix them immediately once they start complaining. You can like almost funnel all the negative. You can control the negative attention you get directly yourself. You can kind of like use them as funnels. Yeah.
Because like if you mask another issue with a microtransaction, that other issue probably like there's got to be like a psychological thing to this. If I was smarter,
it's probably something like anchoring or some shit, right?
I went to 2 more years of psychology school and got my master's. It's like, I'm sure there's some kind of psychological concept of, let's say I'm manipulating you and you catch me manipulating you, and then I like back that off. And then there's some sort of mechanism that they're not going to have the strength to continue searching, right? It's like you get them to release their anger on the microtransactions, and then they're going to kind of soften up with all the other dumb shit you're doing, right?
Yeah, I'm thinking of anchoring is similar. A peer-reviewed study sought to investigate the effects of business intelligence systems on the anchoring effect. Let's see, the cognitive anchoring and adjusting, selective accessibility, attitude change, extreme. Fuck, this is a lot. This is a lot to.
Chat, I'm sorry I'm rambling because I can't quite think of how to describe it, but basically...
Anchoring and pricing, let's see. According to the theory, consumers' shopping experience are influenced by factors such as time restriction and specific environment. Enterprises designed would set anchor values for consumers in order to get them to buy the products. When persuading consumers to purchase a particular product, sellers might use anchoring. Sellers often influence consumers' price perception by anchoring a high reference price that is another anchor value, following the three ways to set the anchor value for consumers. Let's see what this is, the source.
Right, exactly. So like you have a product and you release it for $60 and then you drop it to $40, but $40 is actually the true value.
Yeah, the true value. Yeah.
From $60 to $40, making the consumer, it creates this artificial feeling of worth that wasn't there.
Yeah, then they're kind of like...
There's something to this with microtransactions where they put in the microtransaction and basically they can't lose, because if you just tank it and eat it, then they've got all this extra money. And then they're also smart enough to pull it back if you complain. So then if you complain, they'll pull it back. And then gamers will feel like, oh, I'm heard. I'm heard. So my opinion matters. And so it's like you can't lose. You can't lose. It works either way, right?
Yeah. In marketing, a decoy effect is a phenomenon whereby consumers will tend to have a specific change in preference between two options when also presented with a third option that is asymmetrically dominated. An option is asymmetrically dominated when it is inferior in all respects to one option, but in comparison to the other option, it is inferior in some respects and superior in others. In other words, in terms of specific attributes determining preference, it is completely dominated by the inferior to one option and one partially dominated by the other. When the asymmetrically dominated option is present, a higher percentage of consumers will prefer the dominant option than when the asymmetrically dominant option is absent. Something like this. Probably not exactly this shit.
Or maybe a better way to describe it is like you're overcrowding the feedback mechanisms.
Yeah,
so
something like that. Yeah, like
review of Cyberpunk, right? And Cyberpunk has issues of, I don't know if Cyberpunk had microtransactions, but just whatever big game, Fallout or whatever.
Confirmation.
And it has all these issues with the core content. Like maybe there's glitches, or maybe the game just isn't all that compelling, or there's all kinds of issues. But if you put in this sort of microtransaction thing, and that dominates 50% of the review, then you have overcrowded other space that could have been used to describe, oh, well, there's glitches here and there's content issues here.
Yeah.
Like you can.
Yeah, anchoring is probably the closest to that psychologically, or whatever. Not that important.
Because I'm just thinking, for examples, right? I don't know if Jim Sterling really reviews as frequently or as influential, but if you stick a microtransaction in your game, Jim Sterling's going to notice it. But in a way, you can kind of nullify.
It's like a predictable. It's like a it really is like a funnel where you can funnel negative feedback and then control the press you get exactly. Like, oh, they fell for it, Like we can now focus them on how we improved it. Yeah, it really is like a good, interesting, clever marketing strategy. If you accept the idea that your games are meant to be kind of shit on release.
Jim reviews the game. Most of the review is going to be discussing the microtransaction.
Yeah.
But then after that video, you pull the microtransaction, it's gone. Then you've nullified Jim's review.
Oh yeah. Then there might be a follow-up review where Jim Sterling comments on they removed that microtransaction. There can be articles written by these fucking journalistic quote unquote outlets about how the game is improving. How they reacted. Yeah, it's like it really is like a fucking.
What doesn't exist is you remove the microtransaction and then Jim Sterling does a second review, but then just reviews the rest of the game. That doesn't. What happens is what you just said. Yeah. They discuss the loss of the microtransaction. So you've completely blocked out a lot of other negative feedback with that. Preemptively. It's very clever. It's nasty.
It is. Yeah, it is. You gotta respect it. Yeah, it's one of those fucking marketing strats where you're disgusted, but you respect it. You admire it.
But this is what I think what I'm saying is rather than thinking about the artistic merits of their games and their game design, this is what they're thinking.
Oh yes, as soon as you accept that your game, as soon as you accept the momentum idea, this whole idea, now you have to meta game the whole thing. Yeah, now it took
exactly.
Okay, let's see.
And the reason that we were able to eat that revenue
about gamers are really easily manipulated.
Oh yes,
manipulated because if you feel if I reviewed something and then the developer patched it, I would feel damn, I really did.
Oh yeah,
I did it. And I wouldn't have the same drive to then be all right, so they took out the microtransactions, but there's all these other issues. No, just the basic psychology of that. It's easy. Gamers are not.
Yeah, you will even fall for this. Yeah, you will probably even feel this way, even though you're more conscious about that shit. It works on everyone. Even that's what pisses me off about progression games. They work on me, but it pisses me off that they do.
Yeah. Exactly. And I'm sure it would work on me. Absolutely.
Oh yeah, exactly. No one's immune. All right.
Loss was because we knew that revenue wasn't the goal yet. Trust was. Revenue can come later. And then once we had player trust and sentiment under control, we then focused on retention. And this was the real focus of our first major expansion after Destiny 2 launched, Forsaken. Forsaken's product focus, more than any other specific goal for that release, was to fix the end game for Destiny 2, to fix our retention, and to ensure that there were plenty of long-term pursuits and content in Destiny 2 for our most hardcore players. And this focus allowed the product to succeed. Not just succeed in being a great expansion, which it was, but being the expansion that Destiny 2 needed at that moment in time as a service. And it worked. So this was that terrifying moment in February of 2018. But by the time Forsaken launched, 1 year in, our brand trust was back on track. Our retention had recovered from that precipitous drop after D2 launch. And only after...
You know what's interesting? Okay, hold on. Let's look at the graph.
The memories of like 2 months or something. Gamer, it's insane.
Yeah.
How short gamers. My favorite example of this, the one, because it's so funny that I can't believe no one commented on it. But so with the Smash scene, there was a tournament a few years ago where Nintendo shut down the tournament, and all of the Smash influencers, all of them came together when Nintendo shut down the tournament and said, "Fuck Nintendo, we're not. We are boycotting Nintendo. We are boycotting this motherfucking company." Literally, like 3 or 4 days later, they released Steve or some kind of update for Smash Ultimate. All of them covered it and talked about it and popped off about it. Yeah. They forgot their boycott in like 3 days. It is so funny.
Yeah. It is funny and fucking sad at the same time. It's just like, come on, guys. Like really
so easy to turn.
It's not like they have to become fucking monks, you know. They just have to practice some very, very basic self-control, and they can't even do that. That's why I'm like always, if anything's in the hands of gamers, I'm always going to be, okay, this is going to fail immediately, you know.
Well, that's why I don't really subscribe to the whole we're all gamers, developers type of thing. It's just like, for me, it's I'm like, for example, I've, air quotes, you can't see me on camera, boycotted EA for a decade, you could say, because I bought one of their games. It was Battlefront 1. Me and my brother bought it because we liked Battlefront, the actual Battlefront. And then they did the new Battlefront reboot or whatever. And this was before I was a YouTuber and everything and really following the industry. And so me and my brother, we played the first Battlefront together. It was like kind of like a bonding thing. And so he was kind of going through a rough time. I thought, oh, this would be really good. I'm going to buy Battlefront, the new one, and we're going to sit down and play it together and like kind of like bond and stuff and, you know, help him take his mind off his troubles and stuff. Well, that game launched like it was a fucking piece of shit. And I paid full price for it.
Oh,
it
yeah.
had none of the co-op stuff. It had like no campaign. And then the multiplayer was literally pay to win. Literally pay to win. And me and my brother both turned to each other. And it like kind of broke my heart because he was, I think, still in his teens at this point. I'm like, oh, fuck, this is a fucking disaster. And so I was so enraged that I said, I'm not fucking buying another game from EA ever again. And I haven't since.
Nice,
and
yeah.
So,
But
that was a personal choice. I didn't go on Twitter and be like, oh, because of EA's crunch, I'm not going to buy games from them. Because that, you know, that comes and goes. Like a real personal anger doesn't. Like a real vendetta against that sticks. And so I really wish, like, instead of saying like, oh, we should all come together and all this, I think more of like, hey, you guys deserve better. Like on a person level, you don't have to buy this shit. I don't know. So there's my little spiel.
It's just not gonna fucking work. It's just fucking boycotts, dude. Just literal waste of time. All right.
Yeah. But if you sincerely are like pissed, that stinks. If you sincerely are like, this is fucking bullshit.
Yeah, there's very few of those people though, unfortunately. So.
Yeah, maybe I'm a vindictive bastard. But that pissed.
Oh, you're a petty bitch.
Yeah, and like Battlefront 2 came out, I was like, no fucking way. They could make it the best game ever. I'm not buying that shit.
Yeah. All right.
But like that, it would be interesting to know what percentage of the gaming population is like that. Like,
Yeah, like a study on picking apart game. I mean, I think doing a personal boycott is fine and not perform. I don't care if it's performative. You just have to perform it after like the week where it's relevant. That's it. Like you can fucking
that's what both me and Bog are saying. You have to actually do it.
yeah, you
not
can't.
perform.
Yeah, like you can talk about how virtuous and cool you are about doing the boycott every day as long as you actually fucking do it. You know, that's the fucking point.
Like this story about me not buying an EA game since Battlefront, I never made a video about it.
I mean,
or
even if you
posted
did,
it.
as long as people fucking do it, you know.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Okay. All right. This is why if a company does something stupid, I simply call it out and remind people whenever they do some other stupid thing instead of boycotting. Yeah. I mean,
Well, but the thing about it though, about like boycotts and that kind of thing, is that becomes a game unto itself, in a way. You know, like remember the Bayonetta 3 boycotts? Like that became a game unto itself of like, oh, these are the boycotters and this is the anti-boycotters, and we're like, it comes
well,
like a sports
and the media
thing.
uses it for the game's advantage as well. So, like,
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like the most effective method, but it's the least actual like hard to communicate to people, is to like personally not do it outside of outside forces. So rather than being like, oh, I'm boycotting EA because Twitter said I should, like you play Battlefront and you get pissed and you're like, fuck this, and then
Yeah.
you just decide. I'm not fucking.
My
buying
fucking
that game.
friend who loves Call of Duty would do shit like fucking smash discs. Not even like he didn't even post about it. Would just did it out of rage, but then fucking went outside and bought another one like months down the line.
Exactly. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, though I don't think.
And he felt so guilty as well. He's like, "Fuck, dude, I just, yeah."
What I'm saying is like, if you could get more to the heart of the gamer rather than to the social, like you could get to gamers' hearts and say, you guys deserve better games than this, then they would naturally stop buying the crappy games.
Yeah.
If they played games that were genuinely good, they would naturally not even care about Destiny 2 or whatever. Like that's what I'm saying. You get to like the heart.
Yeah.
Rather
Exactly.
than
Yeah, just or
of,
just show them that they don't actually care about games. It's just they don't even fuck. It's just like there's better hobbies for you out there, buddy. Just do it. Okay.
Trust was back on track. Our retention had recovered from that precipitous drop after D2 launch.
I wonder what the y-axis is, right? Because the y-axis isn't labeled, so we could be looking at a very what?
Yeah. What is happening? Graph.
Yeah, we could be looking at a very tiny little like a drop in the grand scheme of things. And yeah, because the axis isn't labeled, and he's like talking about this fucking stress, and they're doing all that shit for nothing, basically. This could literally be like a couple of big announcements, and that's it, you know. Whatever, I don't fucking know.
And only after
because the bottom isn't 0 players, is it? It's not fucking gonna be the 0, whatever.
For trust and solved for retention. Did we then actually
what?
If it's a graph, that means it's accurate and.
Oh yeah, it's science.
Yeah. We start paying attention to the business again. That was when we started experimenting with revenue innovation that we knew would ultimately be player wins, but were complex, and we knew that they
revenue
needed to be built
innovation,
off of a foundation of trust. So that was when we started charting our course to get out of loot boxes or and move our sword to direct purchase. That's also when we started to add a free-to-play entry point into our game. Like these were all designed to further sustain the long-term Destiny hobby, and I think they've made our game
the long-term Destiny hobby.
He's just what he's doing, Bog, is he's just trying to find different ways to say the same thing 12 times. So he's got to come up with more and more.
But this is such a crazy fucking way to the long term that you make us.
Yeah, he can't repeat the same thing 15 times.
I know, but it's just the fucking craziest way to say it. Like, yeah, the long-term Destiny hobby. The long-term, we created the long-term Dodonpachi hobby. It's like you're creating a game to be a hobby. Like, it's like, I don't know, dude.
He just pulled out the thesaurus for that.
Yeah,
like,
whatever. Yeah, whatever.
Better for all players. But to go back to that FTL analogy, like it would be suicide to be messing with our
like
shields.
it would be. Yeah, I
Our
don't know.
O2
Was it this time? He immediately dropped a like here.
S-word, S-word.
And I truly
Whoa,
believe that
man.
each of these different releases along this road would not have succeeded if we didn't have clear laser focus each time on what our specific goals and definition of success were. And importantly, these goals, they change from release to release. So that was a really simple example. 3 definitions of success, layering them on one at a time. As we've iterated since then, it gets more and more nuanced. Because we keep trying to build more and more
as simple as that was. Player trust.
What did you say?
What were the 3 definitions of success?
Player
trust.
For trust, retention, then revenue. Oh yeah, baby.
Yeah, baby.
So he's turning from trust first, like as psychological as you can possibly get, as marketing as you can possibly get.
Yeah, this is like Amazon strats. This is like how Amazon conducts.
Oh yeah,
baby.
Nice. Yeah.
It is a little weird to call a lifestyle game a long-term hobby game, but it isn't exactly inaccurate. Well, yeah, like we keep saying he's not wrong. He's not saying anything wrong. He's not saying anything like inaccurate. He's fucking spot on. He is cooking. It's all correct. Yeah. It's just like, you know.
We're just recoiling.
He's just very direct. It's very direct, you know. Like usually they kind of try to dance around it, but this guy's fucking on point.
Yeah, this guy's cooking.
Yeah.
Like I said, that's why I even said I wonder if he went to some kind of like lawyer school.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah.
Because the way he's presenting it is very effective. It's just manipulative and creepy. That's all.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's like the best fucking the most well-spoken cartel like a boss, you know.
Yeah, like you sit down with some of these people and you're like, you know what, El Chapo was right. Like I've heard these arguments before, and you're like, you know, if El Chapo wasn't around, the cartel is way more violent, and it's without him, you know, it's been pure chaos and blood in the streets and rapes and murders, and by the end of it, you're like, get El Chapo out of jail, get him back into the cartel, you know, like these types of speech-making tactics are very effective, and they can really twist your perception.
Yeah.
Definitions of success. So for a more recent example, here's one of our typical KPI report cards. I pulled this straight from one of our internal presentations not too long ago. KPI means key performance indicator. It's quantifiable measurements of performance that we measure against a defined target we set ahead of time. And we call it a report card because while every release might have their own unique metrics that we want to measure, so like for example in the Witch Queen, we released the new glaive weapon. So we have a metric for like how many people are using the glaive weapon. Those are unique per release. This report card is the baseline grades that every
the likes are starting to pop up.
Release is going to get no matter what. And it gives us a common language to define.
Can we take a moment of silence for the poor people who work at Bungie?
Yeah.
Because this is like hell. This sounds like hell on
Well,
earth.
did you know that they got rewarded recently for their extreme efforts? Look at this.
Their stream?
Oh, massive layoffs. Bungie layoffs staff amid Destiny 2 downturn. Oh yeah, buddy. Oh yeah. Let's see.
Yeah, exactly.
Totaling more than 100 employees. Some of them. How many people work at Bungie? How many people work at Bungie?
Because he's saying now, I worked in corporate type jobs. I've had these where you have an employee metric report card. It's sick. It's sickening because I worked my fucking ass off, and then my boss comes in, and the boss is like, "So how would you report card yourself?"
Yeah, God, it's like salt in the wound, right? Because you're fuck this.
Part, like, give me a fucking A+, motherfucker. Give me a raise and an A+. But it's like this sick game where you're like, well, if you put all
like
A's,
you can't.
You seem like a psycho if you just give yourself all A's.
Oh yeah.
So then you're like, oh yeah, that's nasty. Don't do that to your employees, Bog. When you hire an employee at Bog Enterprises, don't give him a report card and be like, oh, what? How do you think you're? Especially because this poor motherfucker at Bungie's like doing all these crunch hours and oh my god.
Well, yeah, you would think like, oh, self-evaluation, more freedom at work. That's a good thing. But then no, once the fucking evaluation comes, you're like, fuck.
Oh my god!
Yeah, like
it's
you have
terrible.
to. There's like a whole. Yeah, there's like a whole psychological fucking.
It,
It's like a
it's
psychological experiment being run on you. Yeah.
yeah. So what he's saying is that the poor employees have to, not only are they hot patching, not only are they getting used to public humiliation, not only are they having to write apologies to people on Reddit who are out of control and pissed, they also have to sit every day and check these report card metrics and be like, oh, the trust meter is at C minus. We need to get trust meter to A before the end of the month. So
RPG
get more.
players would love this shit, dude.
I guess you're not going home tonight. We need some more crunch hours. Your weekend, you're gonna have to cut that back. It's terrible. Like, all these are really. This is like some dystopian bullshit right here.
Yeah, and of course, you do well, you fucking try your best, you get fucking laid off, whatever.
Exactly. And then once, yeah, you motherfucker's just going hard. No life. He's given up everything for this dream of working at Bungie. And then they're like, "All right, kid, go home."
Yeah.
Done. Your work
Discuss
here's
success
done.
every time. So let me talk through what our KPI report card looks like and what each of these different measurements mean to us. So first up, we have that trust in Bungie, trust in our game, and we measure it in two ways.
I told you there would be a trust meter.
Oh yeah, of course, you gotta max that shit out, dude.
Vocal sentiment.
All of it.
So what are people saying about us online, on social media, on Twitch? And vocal sentiment is super important because that's your reputation, right? Like that is what people say you are. But it's also often distorted by a small vocal minority. There's a few people who talk a lot, and a lot of people who have opinions.
There's a few people who talk a lot. We gotta do something about them.
Small vocal minority. You can just ad-lib the Electric Underground right.
Oh yes, oh yeah. This motherfucker who keeps fucking running his mouth. We gotta do something about him. We gotta do something about this fucking vocal minority.
That's literally me every time.
Okay.
And don't talk very much. So to get beyond that vocal minority, we also do our own weekly surveys of player happiness using a rate last week.
Oh my god.
Get beyond
that is fucking Brave New World shit.
Fucking like doing reviews from an undisclosed location.
Yeah. Are you happy? Yeah, like he's in a dark fucking room covered in blood with like a bucket of questionable purposes, and he hears a fucking voice over the speaker. How is your level of happiness this week? It's like, oh my.
I'm just gonna relocate to Siberia.
Yeah, holy shit.
The tundra will protect me, and I'll get a pet tiger.
Awesome.
So we randomly reach out to, I think, a few thousand folks every week, and we ask them to rate the last week of Destiny on a 1 to 5 point scale. And we've tried some different systems here, like we've done more subjective measurements of quality, we've done net promoter scores, but we found that rate last week hits that sweet spot for us of rapid, precise data that we can quantify about player happiness. If you release an amazing live event, you can know the very next week if your players are happy about it. Or if you do something terrible.
I'm cooking a little. Me and him are both cooking at the same time. Do you think FromSoft has this? My bet is no.
I think they do. I think what they do. No, Mark. I think what they do is they have a team that makes the game and then a team that deals with this bullshit. I think that's how they handle it. Yeah.
I just imagine the FromSoft guys, and they've got like a fucking board in their room, in their like a whatever dev room. I don't know what it looks like exactly, and it's just like player trust meter. Oh my god! Do you think that's what they're up to?
Yeah, well, I do think they legit have like a. Yeah, I think they have like a subset of the team that just deals with this bullshit, and they're probably suicidal every day. Well, there's like a main.
We can actually test this.
Yeah.
Someone look to see if there's an Elden Ring apology, because remember it had issues on Steam or on PC. Look to see, is there an Elden Ring apology post?
We are pleased. Slightly, kinda. There's a. Bandai Namco. So they might handle that externally from. They might have like a team at Bandai that they assign to games, right?
What's it say?
We are pleased to inform you that the issue preventing PlayStation 4 from being upgraded version has been addressed today. We would ask that all affected customers check the confirm order. Once again, we apologize unreservedly to all affected customers. We hope all of you will continue to enjoy the world of Elden Ring. Yeah, like but
chat. I can't see chat. Can chat put sad faces in the chat?
Yeah, I want to see sad faces, chat.
Let's see some sad faces. I was so excited that at this theory that maybe the Elden Ring devs weren't doing this.
Well, I'm telling you, I legit feel like there's a subset of the team that deals with this, or maybe even like Bandai Namco's boys instead of the From Software boys themselves. And then there's a team that actually develops the games that remained like sort of consistent, right?
I would hope so, at least.
Yeah, I think so.
That's what your publisher's for, I guess. The publisher can apologize.
Yeah, there's the video game janitors that come in and fucking deal with the gamers down the line. Because I believe I might be wrong on this, but I believe because my friend who plays a lot of Elden Ring PvP was saying how they recently separated the PvP from PvE balancing somehow, and I feel like that maybe that was just to make it easier to manage for the teams and shit. Because like the PvEP element is like the kind of like a service game. The PvE is more like a we released this, deal with it, motherfucker.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay.
I was kind of excited. I was hoping that
the rot is spreading, dude. It's everywhere.
Or even our boys
if your players are unhappy about it. And so between the two of these, you can get a good week-over-week trending of both what players think of your game and what they're saying they think of your game. And both of those are interesting and different data points about player trust. So next up, we have the lifeblood of our game, our engagement.
He's pointing out, see, this guy is cooking. He's pointing out that you all bitch on Twitter, but you buy the game anyway. That's what he's saying.
Yeah. Fucking
sit and bitch about Cyberpunk
exposed
on Twitter and how you're going to boycott it and how this and that, and then you all buy it.
Does Armored Core 6 suffer from this? I think so, but I don't feel like checking. So, do your own research.
Is our average DAU, so average daily active users. How big is our community that is willing to show up and play each day? And you can measure your active users daily, weekly, or monthly. There's interesting nuance there and different learnings.
He's checking the Steam charts.
Oh, yeah, and he's comparing how many people are bitching to how many are playing actively. And he knows. He sees, you motherfuckers. He sees.
Yeah. I actually do that myself. Sometimes I'll be like, okay, everyone's complaining about this game. Then I'll pop up Steam charts and be like, well, everyone's still playing.
Yes, well, with fighting games, it's unavoidable, right?
Guilty Gear Strive's perfect.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, perfect. Yeah.
If you go on Twitter and listen to the Guilty Gear players, you would get the impression that it is like an abomination.
Yeah, like a wasteland. And Exerd is like the fucking Guilty Gear to play.
So just from Twitter talk and from Discord talk, you get the impression that no one plays Strive and everyone plays Exerd. You pop open Steam charts, Exerd is usually 2K or more, and that's way higher than. Sorry, not Exerd. Strive is 2K or more, and that's more than Exerd probably almost ever. Then you look at Exerd, it's 300, 400. Yeah. I mean, it's the reality does not match up with the Twitter talk.
Oh yeah. Man, I wonder how much overlap there is in those who complain and those who fucking play it.
From each of those different types of measurements. But for our report cards, we like DAU because it's not very latent. You can get new DAU scores every single day. And while DAU is ultimately one of the best indicators of health for us as a franchise, it's kind of like our blood pressure.
Huh?
These poor employees have to check this every single day.
Fantastic, yeah? I mean, Jesus. They just crumbling into dust, slowly. Goddamn.
It's super important, but it's not very actionable on its own. To try to impact.
See, Mewjam, they should have shown you this in the game design class. Yes. They should have shown you this lecture so you'd fucking get out of there ASAP and join a comp sci, get a fucking engineering degree or some shit, and stay the fuck away from the game industry forever. Holy shit.
They should play this for orientation, the first day.
Oh yeah, exactly, yeah. This is what you're getting into. Be fucking ready.
What you're signing up for? Yeah.
DAU. We have to go one layer deeper. So DAU is ultimately a function of really just how many players are coming into your game each week and how many players are leaving it. Your funnel in, funnel out. And so we measure this through new players. So brand new accounts that are created on a given week.
They've been drip feeding stuff like this. Yeah, but that's not effective because you can kind of rationalize it away. But this hits you like a fucking truck. This is like a
This guy, like I said, he's very manipulative, but he's very informative.
Yeah, he's informative. He's clear. He's like it's a good speech. It's a really good presentation.
Because he knows he's won.
Oh yeah,
he knows he's won, and there's no going back.
Oh yeah,
he can just let it rock. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
This just reminds me so much of when you work at a company and they know they're the only company in town. They have no competition. And you sit in these boardrooms, and this is how they talk. They talk like, this is how it's done, and you're going to have to suck it up and get used to it. Get used to public humiliation, because that's the game, baby. Yeah, it's that.
I mean, whining may have killed Melty Blood type Lumina. No fucking way. Like, the people whine, but like, when has Melty Blood been ever been popular? It's one of those, like, it's one of the many fighting games which people get excited for like a month and then just like barely play at all. If even a month, more like a week. It's just the cycle nowadays. Because if you see like the previous Melty Blood games, it's not like they were ever fucking popular. I wonder if Melty, like, it's hard to judge because the older Melty Blood usually use third party shit for net play. But I imagine if you went and compared Type Lumina players to like Actress Again players, right? You'd probably see fucking Type Lumina coming on top.
Example though, because I think Melty Blood fell into this same hole that this guy's talking about, because it launched with like fucking nothing. And I remember paying $60 for it. I mentioned this in a video. I paid $60 for it. I was like, that was a mistake. Because it was like barren. There was like nothing. And then a few months, years, however long it's been later,
Echo Arc. Yeah, we got Echo Arc. We got like, you got crossover characters from fucking Fate Stay Night who I don't even know. It's like just, yeah.
But imagine if all that shit was there on launch.
Yeah.
Imagine how I'd feel about the game then, if that was all there on launch. That's a perfect example.
Yeah, Type Lumina's game design, though, that was perfectly nailed.
The game, I blame the devs for not having it be a robust launch. Their launch was weak, and they got what they deserved. That's my opinion.
Yeah, well, the game design was perfect, because the game designer follows me on Twitter, so, can't complain there.
Well, his hands were tied. Yes.
No, he was cooking, dude. Just the players didn't get it. Just
in the chat, like, yo, you motherfucker.
He's following me on Twitter, dude. I can't fucking disrespect.
Remember when I said we're not immune to this? E-celeb bog.
What, dude? yeah. There we go.
Our weekly return rate. So these are players that
Fuck. Yeah, okay, let's go.
Played last week and have returned this week to play again.
What did you say?
He's like messaging you on Twitter and be like,
like fucking Bog. Listen, don't choose your words carefully, mister.
That's so funny.
And then win back. So these are players who
he actually follows pretty much everyone who follows him. So it's like one of those empty follows, Just kidding.
Last week,
unfortunately, it would be cool if he like followed me, but no.
Respect that though. I do. I really don't use Twitter anymore because I'm a what would you call it? Liberated mind now. But
yeah.
I actually did that when I was on Twitter too, because I felt like, don't you feel like it's almost a little elitist to be like, I've got 50,000 followers and I follow 4 people.
Yes,
I literally do that, and it's like a flex. Like that's like I'm so.
For me, it's not a flex. For me, it's literally like, how am I gonna fucking use Twitter if I follow everyone on the fucking under the sun? The whole. No wonder you were getting so much fucking bullshit and arguments. You didn't follow the right people, right? Twitter.
But point isn't that the point?
Twitter should hide who you're following.
That's what I'm saying. I hate Twitter's structure. Because you can't win either way. It feels either like you're being a dick, or it feels like
or you fill up your feed with bullshit.
It's a complete mosh pit of people. I was in the hearts of the people there.
Yeah.
I saw all your guys' posts. I followed you all back, so I saw everything everyone was saying.
Yeah. Okay.
But played at some point in the past. It could have been 2 weeks ago. It could have been 5 years ago. But for whatever lapse, they've returned to us. And you put these factors together, and then you can see pretty easily your funnel in and funnel out of players. And importantly, each of these KPIs are going to be pushed differently. Like the type of content that typically causes your engaged players to stick around, that raises your return rate, is going to be really different from the type of content that's going to cause new players to.
Huh?
YouTube. I said, thank God YouTube doesn't do this to me. But
Not yet.
I bet that's the next thing where they're going to have. So every day I open YouTube, it tells me how many new subs I have.
Oh yeah,
But
there's a whole
into a month. So I can't tell day to day.
Right.
I can't open mine and tell day to day. You kind of see it in sort of a monthly package. But imagine I opened YouTube and it told me how many people unsubscribe.
Oh yeah.
My
Oh
God.
yeah.
Imagine I do the Resident Evil 4 remake review. I open that bitch up. It's like 300 people unsubscribed.
Jesus.
Ooh, agony, the pain.
Yeah, that would be fucking sting. Well, it's like the graph he showed, but you know, it's like you'd be agonizing over every tiny dip. You're like, oh fuck, okay.
What? Your mind as a YouTuber is not immune to this shit.
Well, absolutely
This
not.
is why I try my analytics too much anymore, other than like for like technical reasons. But I try to like because it's sick. It's like it's a tool, but it's also like
That's why we gotta watch more stuff on gamification, by the way, because I want to go through some lectures and shit on gamification, because all these social media sites, all these
It definitely does it. I knew that before you even said that to me.
Yeah.
Like, because I remember the day I got. I think it was. What was the first video? It wasn't Resident Evil 4 remake. There's a video before that. But one of my more popular early videos, I opened up YouTube Studio, and it firework exploded on the screen.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, YouTube, you manipulative motherfuckers. That was the. I remember what it was. Remember the video where I complained about Cotton 2 and its
Oh yeah, the input lag, yeah.
Popular, surprisingly popular. I remember opening YouTube Studio that day, and there's like fireworks going off and stuff, and I'm like, you motherfuckers, you are so manipulative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fucking just shit. Okay.
Show up. And this is where getting hired.
They don't need fireworks.
Yeah. I sped it up a bit, so let's see.
Granularity and how you're defining success for a given feature, a piece of content, or a release gets really important. So finally, beyond our blood pressure, we've got the revenue that we're trying to accomplish, made up both in unit sales.
Oh, baby. Redacted, huh?
Here,
I see.
while we're tracking revenue daily with these report cards, we aren't actually optimizing for revenue. Because it would be easy to make decisions that temporarily spiked our revenue, but we're very bad for the long-term health of our game. And that's why we focus a lot more on our trust and our retention.
You guys are so
responsible.
They're so noble, dude.
They're so responsible.
So noble.
Yeah.
They're so responsible, man. They're not doing this. They're not subjecting their employees to daily report cards and to crunch and all this crazy shit because of revenue, man.
Yeah, they're doing it for us. They're doing it for us.
Dude,
they're doing it
no
for us.
Way. Well, what are you talking about? That's not the reason. Okay.
It's all for us, dude. It's all for the gamers.
For the gamers, yeah.
Scores than just on our revenue scores. All right, so we're gathering this data, we're bundling it up in these report cards, but the data only matters if you're doing something with it. And so the remaining step for us is about validating our hypotheses and really unpacking and learning from this data each release. So we have three main ways that we use this data that each have different levels of latency. They range from very rapid and timely use of the data to very thoroughly analyzed but delayed. So the lowest latency access is all these KPIs have dashboards that are live updated and are visible to our whole studio every day. We have them up in the kitchens and our offices, and if you're remote, you can log.
What?
Wait a minute.
Oh, your guy. He's your fucking guy. Let's see.
Wait, no, he's talking about literally the latency of their report cards.
Yeah.
That's how serious he is right now. Like he's not talking like, oh, we'll find out in a week. He's like, by the minute.
By the fucking frame, dude. By the frame of reality.
Wouldn't it be funny if wouldn't it be, oh my God. This could be a parody video if the internet could do parodies anymore. It'd be such a funny video where, they don't give a flying fuck about the input lag in their actual game, but they're, optimizing the input lag of their report cards.
Yeah, the report cards, just to make sure we get the timely fucking...
1 frame lag on the report card. 1 frame of lag on the updates on the revenue.
Yeah. Gonna install heart monitors as well for the employees.
They have rollback netcode. They have rollback netcode for the report cards.
Yeah, they're predicting the fucking things and adjusting them. Yeah, in advance. Jesus.
So the lowest latency access is all these KPIs have dashboards that are live updated and are visible to our whole studio every day.
You're like standing like in front of monitors, man. Standing in front of monitors, just watching the. Yes, like this. This is like the average fucking day of a AAA dev. This is literally like the.
So beautiful how like 1984 it is. Like,
It is, yeah. It is, and it's so fucking perfect. It's just shinier and more like, slick. That's it. 1984 was dirty, fucking disgusting, like run down. But this is like slick, shiny, plasticky, but it's fundamentally spiritually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have them up in the kitchens in our offices, and if you're remote,
what do you mean? You're in the fucking kitchen. You're in your fucking food break, and you're watching stats pass by. What the fuck?
That is fucked up, dude.
You're taking a shit in the fucking company toilet, and you see you look.
They're in the bathroom. You're taking a shit, and it's like, we just lost $20.
Yeah. Oh my god.
We just lost $20. Get your ass back to your cubicle.
Yeah, the fucking finance cube. They lock you in. It's like monitors on every single side on every wall. Holy shit, dude.
See, this is okay. Small rant incoming. This is why when I talk to gamers and I talk about books and y'all like boring, at least like if a guy worked at one of these studios and had read 1984 and he walks into the break room and sees a live updater, don't you think someone on staff would be like, this is a little Orwellian, don't you think? A little much, don't you think?
Yeah.
Everyone on the staff is like these tech bros, and so they're all like, yeah, like
dude,
stats,
let me find it real quick.
Amazon
ad. There's a fucking Amazon ad that was like, I'm probably not gonna find it. For workers, there was some fucking ad, dude. Oh, this fucking classic, this banger.
We're excited to have you at this training, specifically designed to give you the tools that you need for success when it comes to labor organizing. During this course, we'll cover several important topics, such as our position on unions, associate holders, or most importantly, our associates. Our business model is built upon speed,
why do all
innovation,
these corporations use fucking cartoons that look like Peppa Pig?
Yeah, well, that's just to like literally that's what makes it creepier, right? Because like very.
Well, it makes it so fucking dystopian.
It's all it's like all paternalistic, right? It's like sweetie.
Yeah, dude, they're not any self-awareness when they're making this. Like, this is the most dystopian shit ever. Like, this is straight out of Blade Runner right here.
Working relationship is better for the customer, the company, and the associate. In order to be able to do that effectively, it is critical or union-led movements like living wage or steward.
Union words. Oh no. Union words, living wage, grievance. How is this real? How is this real?
Yeah, dude, because when you're pissed at your job and you're in the break room, you're all in the break room and you're like, grievance, 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 grievance. And you start just fist pumping. Grievance, grievance, grievance.
Yeah, this is just, yeah.
A meaningful cultural shift, because we're talking about live updating.
That's exactly what you do.
Yeah, it's fucking grim, dude. It's fucking grim. What a world.
Displaying all of our core metrics, including our business metrics about stuff like revenue, to the whole team. But what this means is that at a glance, anyone in our studio who's trying to make a decision about something they're building can see how we're trending against our KPIs for the year, for the week,
God
for the
damn it, dude. It's fucking literal hell.
The year for the week, what's the last part?
What?
Go back, replay it.
Have them up in the kitchens in our offices, and if you're remote, you can log in and you can see them directly in your browser. And this was like a meaningful cultural shift, because we're talking about live updating and displaying all of our core metrics, including our business metrics about stuff like revenue, to the whole team. But what this means is that at a glance, anyone in our studio who's trying to make a decision about something they're building can see how we're trending against our KPIs for the year, for the week, or for the given release. And that data is updated every single day.
The year, for the week, or given release. That's so... Oh my god.
You're getting blasted 24/7 with this bullshit. Just nonstop. Player feedback, player happiness. Just, God.
Chat, weigh in. On a scale of 1 to 10, how fucked up is that? That people need to speak.
Mujam said, dude, what even is the fucking image in the background of this slide? Yeah, what is this? Is probably a photo of their office.
Yeah.
This is real life. There's a guy with a gun enforcing them following the KPI data, and making sure they glance at it every now and then.
They should have like a fucking sky. Well, don't they have like those eye trackers some corporations use? So, like they track where you're.
I believe so. Yeah. Jeez.
God. Jesus Christ.
This is why we gotta fucking return to the caveman days. This is fucked up.
Yeah. So I can't see chat. Are we seeing what's the outcome in chat looking? Are we seeing some
Sora said 1 out of 1. Gobo said is 10 the highest? Cause I imagine because he wants to, go higher. Saturnmorn is like, I'm putting it about 7 or 8 out of 10. Seen worse. He's been fucking. He's been in North Korea. He's been fucking.
Yeah, Saturnmorn has seen some shit.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. Okay, dude. Holy. 5 is safe. It is. Is it safe? Or is it true? We're talking about the truth here. All right, let's see.
We then do what we call live ops reviews of this data every 2 weeks.
Oh,
so
God.
we dissect the performance of the last 2 weeks of our game with the team. And importantly, the audience
having a performance review.
Yeah.
Every
live ops
2
reviews
2 weeks, yeah.
is not just like our PMs or analytics. We try to get all of our feature leads.
Dude, I always get confused with bi-weekly. It's like every second week or every twice a week. I'm like, fuck.
It could mean either. That's the why.
Really? Can it? God, English is fucked up, dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
I always imagine it's like bi-weekly. It's like...
Yeah,
huh.
I know.
Fucking weird,
it's
dude.
Fucked up.
Yeah, that's crazy. Holy.
It's me all the time.
Yeah, it's fucking... You gotta fix your language, dude. Okay.
Try week.
All of our design directors, our art leads, anyone who's making creative decisions about the product, to prioritize attending these meetings.
Everyone, dude.
Because in these meetings, besides going...
Everyone. Artists, writers, everyone.
Everyone, dude. Yeah.
Everyone, yeah.
Everyone.
The fucking janitor,
Some guys working on like coding and art, and they're like, "How is your daily work affecting our revenue?" I've talked about this. Like, I worked in like corporations like this, where every fucking week we sat in this room and said, "Revenue, revenue,
Yeah.
revenue, revenue." It was sick.
Yeah, but the revenue is not, because this is worse. This is worse than revenue, because now they're talking about like player feedback. The players are screaming at us. They're screaming like they're telling you that you did a poor job. Fix it, fix it. Like, it's not just revenue, because with revenue at least you have like the abstraction layers. But here's like player fucking happiness, satisfaction. What are they talking about? Where are they talking? It's like, holy fuck.
Yeah, can't you just make the fucking game?
No.
How about that?
That's archaic. That's archaic. That's unevolved. Get that shit out of here. That's some primitive garbage, dude.
How do you, in all good conscience, go to a developer conference and with such pride be like, okay, we just fucking torture our employees. We don't give a fuck about how good the game is on launch. We sit and just respond to whatever dumbass feedback the internet gives us, whether it's good or not. This is the future.
Because it is the norm, yeah. Because he won. He won, like you said. He won.
Fix your game. If you fix your game and do a good job on it, then you're secretive. Then you're being a
like you said, dude. He won. He knows he won. He knows we're fucked. Yeah. Like there's no we're gonna keep losing. He's gonna keep winning. There's no different. Like there's no. It's not gonna change. So.
It would be so funny in the last part of the presentation. He's like, now let's talk about layoffs.
It might get there. It might fucking get there, yeah.
Timely topics in the game. So, like, as a recent example, we just launched The Witch Queen.
Mew Jam, we launched our broken, shitty game, and they're telling us to kill ourselves. The first step in gaining their trust, smiley face. Now get back to work.
Remember, step one is you need to get comfortable with public humiliation.
Oh, yeah,
you said that. You need to internalize public humiliation. Step one.
God damn. Dude, God fucking damn it.
After this stream, you need to download this video.
If you know a AAA developer, give them a hug. Just do it.
I need to archive this video in my drive or on like a floppy
Yeah,
disk or some shit.
Oh, this specific video?
This specific video.
The
'cause this
response
is
or
like,
just the video?
no, this video. No, the source material.
Right,
The-
right,
the-
yeah.
the-
It's an
This needs-
interesting it's an interesting links on our Discord. You can check it.
Okay, because I'm gonna download this shit and put it. You know, I did the IGN. I have that backed up. The IGN. Why is every game a 7 or whatever?
Oh yeah, yeah. Hell yeah, dude. Fantastic.
This is important.
Yeah.
I backed that up. This
Yeah.
I think this needs to go in the collection.
You feel that sting that's pride fucking you from Pulp Fiction. Yeah, if you see a AAA developer, just give them a hug. They'll break down in tears immediately.
You don't see them, Bog. You don't see them. They're
Yeah,
locked in the.
yeah, they're like watching monitors, fucking sweating.
You think you see these people? That means they can leave their office.
Yeah.
You're not seeing them.
Yeah. Okay.
We launched our first legendary campaign with the Witch Queen. So this was a hard mode that you could opt into and play instead of the normal mode. And so 2 weeks after that launch, in our live ops review, we did a deep dive on how that legendary mode feature performed and how many players engaged with it, how many of them completed it. We could have that conversation with the whole team just a couple weeks after launch. And what this means is that we can try different creative experiments like that and validate them 3-4 times across different releases. And our creatives then get to develop a much more intuitive understanding of what kinds of creative approaches are going to yield the results that they want. And finally, we have these large 2-hour lecture-style recaps that we do at the end of every season, where we recap the all-up performance of every aspect of a season or an expansion release several months after it's gone live. And this is where we get the most in-depth analysis, but it's also where we have the most latency, because we spend several months building these presentations and consolidating our analysis. But we then present these in our theater, and we record them and put them all up on our streaming portal for any employee to watch. So this picture was from one of our pre-COVID sessions, that's why we're not wearing masks. But they're basically our college-level courses on learning the Destiny business. And they become a great entry point for any employee to start understanding how their work is going to impact our players at scale.
Oh yeah, MewJump brings up, remember their motto? Something like, what was it? Let me see.
Building friendship communities.
Yeah, building friendships. It makes it so much funnier considering the work environment they're creating.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Building. Well, it's. I think it's fitting because it's a very cult-like work
Yeah,
environment. And that's,
like Midsommar shit, dude.
That's some cult shit right there.
Yeah, well, and then with the Blizzard news, the cult shit is playing out as you would expect in terms of fucking orgies without consent and shit. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, you watch this conference and you're like, wow, David Koresh ain't looking so bad right now.
Yeah, it's like you got to show this to people who are like psychology first and who want to take an empirical approach to game design. Be like, this is what you're advocating for. Like, this is the end point of what you're doing. This is where it's heading.
Yeah, this is what it becomes.
Yeah, this is what it becomes. Yeah. Like, what are you gonna do about it? And they either embrace it and be like, oh well, it's clearly based on utilitarian principles. It's fine, or they fucking recoil in horror and are like, holy shit, are games a fucking mistake?
This is building friendships. We're building friendships.
Yeah.
Well, the thing about it that I always think about is you can make fucked up cult things around fucking anything, and sometimes it's a mistake, like to always link that together. Like video games as an artistic expression and medium can be awesome and amazing, but you can, like anything else, shmups were like this too. I've had people talk to me about this, like, oh, the shmup community is a bunch of fucking psycho cultists. I'm like, well, that's happened with any community.
Yeah.
It's not the 4Games fault. It's not shmup's fault, And I think that with video games as a whole, it's not video games' fault necessarily.
Of course it isn't. Yeah, just like the approach people take.
Yeah, but
I do
you
feel
definitely
like
want to try away from this type of thing.
Yeah, I do feel like there's a lot of incentives when you take a psychological approach to move in this direction. That's the problem, right?
Because it's the natural course.
Yeah, it is the natural course. Like it.
The only basis for design is how do I psychologically manipulate the player. This is what it becomes.
Oh yeah, it's the only place they can go. All right.
And so what this all drives to, what we're trying to accomplish with this nuanced definition of success, is to start doing data-informed design. And importantly, like, it's not data-driven. We are not putting any guardrails on our creative process.
This is what I say when I'm making a video. I say, data-informed design.
Oh, yes.
When I'm reviewing a game, I'm like, what does the data say about my feelings? Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, and he's not putting guardrails on the creative process. He's just blasting you with the data everywhere you go, including the fucking toilet. So you're always
There's
reminded of every single mistake you make, and you have to write reports. But he's not putting guardrails on the creative process.
And remember, also have to respond to every controversy too.
Yeah,
Don't
apologize. Get on your fucking knees and beg you for fuck up. But he's not putting guardrails in the creative process. Come on, really?
How would that even happen?
Yeah.
What would that look like?
Yeah.
You go to the bathroom and go to the break room and there's like monitors telling you what to do?
Yeah, they're like fucking big dudes, fucking with bats, fucking they bust your kneecaps if you make like fucking a character that's too cool, you know.
Exactly.
If you tune your stats to be a little bit, you know, the game is a little bit too difficult and the players are complaining. Your fingers are gonna go off one by one. You know, that's what he imagines by guardrails, instead of like everything else you can legally get away with until you arrive at that point. Okay.
Our team's vision. We regularly try radical new experiments that veer far away from our existing data, that veer away from our standard formula. Like a recent example, last December we released a 30th anniversary pack, and that was a very different product from anything we had built in the last several years. That was driven, like the definition of that product was.
Anniversary pack is considered risky.
Maybe it did something risky. I don't know. Let's see.
A re-release is super risky, dude. I've always say that.
Yeah.
Driven by the creative passion of the team and how they want to celebrate 30 years of Bungie more really than anything else. But even when we take those big swings, when we're
wait, that's it? He's not going to say how it's risky. Just
he thinks re-releasing an anniversary of an old game, which is like the most bare bones basic shit you could do. That's risky, man.
That's fucking brutal, dude. And how is that related to creativity? They didn't create anything. The teams just re-release shit, right?
Dude, they had to make new box art. Let's be fair.
No.
Probably box art a bit.
Yeah.
That's dangerous.
Jesus. All right.
Imagine the poor guy making creative box art, like sitting in the break room, and he's like, "How will this affect the revenue?"
yeah. God damn it, dude! Like, there's no escape. There's no fucking escape. Help me! Like they're leaving notes for the fucking janitors to find help. Yeah.
Like Dark Souls.
yeah. Basically, like fucking soapstone messages, like "Help me."
Creators then get to be scientists. What we do is we try something.
No, creators.
Data science, yeah. Baby.
I hate this. I hate the fucking scientific approach, because the scientific approach means just psychology, just manipulation, just fucking brain hacks upon brain hacks. That's what it fucking means.
Doing what's been done before.
Yeah.
Like science.
Fuck.
New, but ahead of time, we predict what we think is going to happen. We then take those predictions and quantify them. And then finally, after we release, we validate whether those results matched our predictions. And almost every release through this process, we get at least one just like shocking and surprising result back that totally violates our expectations and our hypotheses of our game.
Wow.
And I love when this happens, because that's when I know that we're really learning. Like, that's when I know that we're honing our craft. We're discovering something that's true about Destiny, or something that's true about our community.
Why do you even do the whole predictions data thing? If he's like, I love unexpected surprises, and I love.
Well, now he's going to try to integrate that shit back in, you know, and the team will get like a few lashes, you know.
Why don't you do the old method of like making the game and then releasing it?
Come on, that's stupid, dude. Do you want money or do you not want money?
Yeah.
You know what?
I mean,
yeah.
To be honest, I don't think it's just about money. I know that people say it's just about money, but I think, because think of like the cost of having to do this all day, every day. We're doing reports. We're having meetings. Like,
well, yeah, for the developers, like I feel like.
And during all this, when are they actually making the game? Like, you spend your day going to bi-weekly meetings. You're looking at stats and reports, and I'm sure you're having conference calls about the stats and reports. And like, at what percentage of your day is actually making the game?
Yeah.
And like. And this is why their budgets are fucking giant. This is why. It's because you spend 50% of your time in meetings talking about revenue.
And just bloat, yeah, endless bloat, and you know, fuck.
That's why I don't think it is purely about money. I also think it's or about efficiency. I think they get off on it. I think it's also they enjoy this level of control over their employees. I think so.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't be fucking surprised. I mean, you saw the Amazon video, right? No one who has a fucking sane, like socially adjusted brain would fucking greenlight that abomination, or this talk for that matter.
Yeah. No, I think they get off on it.
Oh yeah, it's like a rush. All right.
That didn't fit any of our shared conventional wisdom up until that moment. And as a result, we're becoming better designers, becoming better artists and creators. Okay, so we've talked about velocity, we've talked about data. The third major way that I want to talk about redefining success is in the product itself. And the way we talk about this mindset shift internally is you're building a train station, not a train. So if you think about that box product mindset, it's building.
You made it through everything. Now it's time to talk about the game.
Yeah, talk to game. But even now he's like, we're building the train station, not a train.
Building the most impressive, fast, luxurious new train that the world has ever seen. You're poring over the details of the trim in every cabin, the friction on the wheels.
A friendly reminder that this was before the massive layoffs. Yeah, they recently laid off a shit ton of people as a reminder.
Yeah.
This stuff sounds like the project manager stuff, not the actual creator stuff. No, they did literally mention that they show off these stats to everyone on the team, and they attend these meetings.
He said that the whole team
the whole team.
The whole team. So the guy working on the code and everyone.
Oh, he said that. He said that. He said that and later in the comment.
I think he even mentioned like the artists, and he even
specifically the artists. Yeah, they probably do get fed, but he did say that like they have screens that everyone on the team can see, like these fucking stats in real time, pretty much. Yeah.
Even in the break room. Even in the
kitchen. Yeah, they're eating and they're fucking seeing the stats. Yeah. All right.
Everything to make that train the most amazing thing the world has ever seen. And you probably have some sort of like intense push at the end of the project. It could be a targeted crunch, or it could just be like extra focus, where all anyone's thinking about is how to get those last few steps to release to a gold master, to a final, perfectly polished experience. But as a live service,
see now though, what's interesting to me now, he's like talking about like perfection and masterpieces, like optimization, the quality, the stuff he went against before, but specifically when talking about crunch and pushing employees. Pretty interesting.
Yeah, because he said earlier in the presentation that we need to change the idea that launch needs to be good.
Yeah, and then, but when he talks about justifying crunch, now he's like, oh, we got to push out the perfect product. We got to push out the perfection. Yeah.
This is classic. Like, I'm sure I'm sounding like a broken record, but this is classic manipulation where you are intentionally contradicting yourself.
Yeah.
So then that leaves no escape route. There's no way out, because if you say, hey, you said, it's not a big deal if the launch is messed up. But he's like, yeah, but it also needs to be perfect.
Oh, yeah.
Brain can comprehend this two at once. In 1984, it's called doublethink.
Yeah.
There's literally doublethink.
Soak it in, boys. This is the most honest an AA dev will ever be. You know what? I don't think so. I think we're going to get a lot of these, and we're going to get them a lot worse. Because, like, the more the industry gets bloated and, like, combines into one fucking big monstrosity, the more of these fucking guys will directly speak their minds. Because they know they've won, and they're going to keep winning. So, yeah.
I think it'll be interesting. I'm not. They might get more closed mouth. I'm not, because they really are feeling themselves right now. So I don't know. This might be peak honesty. We'll see.
I think it'll come in waves, but I think we're gonna see more of this. So let's see. Yeah. I mean, again, and it's gonna depend on how like the whole layoff wave goes. But let's see.
Merger of Activision and Blizzard. I made a video complaining about it. No one watched. Meanwhile, Digital Foundry has.
Wait, did you make it? You didn't make the video, did you?
I did. Remember, you even did the thumbnail.
I made the thumbnail, but you never make the video because I remember you never using that thumbnail.
No, it's there. That was an existing video blog. The video exists. I made that video, but I was sitting there one day and like, but my thumbnail wasn't that great, and I was like, I really wish people would watch this video.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's an old one. Okay.
Yeah, it exists. It exists.
All right. Yeah, I didn't realize. I was like waiting for you to publish it. I didn't realize it was an older one. Yeah.
Yeah, it's an older video. And in the video, there's one guy in Digital Foundry who's like, this isn't good. But everyone was looking at him like, dude, shut up.
Yeah.
Fuck up.
I mean, do you think?
And we're like, Microsoft's back, baby, and then Dodonpachi was behind him when he said that.
Yeah.
I was like,
Gabo saying, I mean, do you think GDC would lock comments if it was otherwise? Yeah, but remember what we were talking about people having short memory.
comments are locked.
Oh yeah, the
always a
comments
sign.
are locked down. They're locked the fuck down.
That's always a sign, my dude.
Yeah.
I bet.
And it's not
I
even that
bet
huge of a video, views-wise. It's only 30,000 views.
Yeah, but I bet what happened was they released this thinking like everyone's gonna think we're fucking amazing, and then they see. Remember, we're talking about the whole managing. He says one of the main things they do is managing public opinion.
Yeah.
So they release the video. They look at the comment section. It's just a fucking. It's just a destroy. It's a nightmare.
Dude.
So then they just lock the comments.
Dude, fuck. That's a good way to filter the GDCs by the best ones. We gotta look for the ones that have turned off comments. That's like the bangers. Yeah. Okay.
That's the one. That's the one, it's like, that's the good stuff right there.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay.
What we're actually building is a train station. And the moment that train has departed, you have another one arriving. And in fact, the track probably needs to be cleared for that next train before the previous one has even departed. So this, to put it visually, this was what our release schedule looked like in development.
Huh?
He's like, to put it visually, it's not a complicated metaphor, man. We get it.
Yeah. Schedule during Destiny 1 and Destiny 2 development. So we released Destiny 1, we built a couple expansions, one after another for Destiny 1, and then in parallel we were building Destiny 2 and eventually released that. But otherwise, it's a fairly straight shot. We were building trains in this model.
Where on the train is the
schedule
layout?
like today.
I really want to see that.
Where's the part?
Where's that on the train where he's like, okay, and then now we lay off the staff?
That's the redacted ones, dude.
That's just a little bit out of frame,
Well, I mean, you see the redacted ones, right? You see like a whole bunch of redacted trains over here. That's the ones with the layoffs.
I would love it if it would be really funny if like you just like zoom out the graph and then there's like this giant. What would it be? What would the layoff?
The cliff.
What knocks train? What hits trains like a bomb? I guess like a giant.
Yeah, just like a derailing,
Just a big stick of dynamite. It's like, okay, this is where we lay off all the staff.
All right.
And so at any given moment, we have 5 to 6 releases in various stages of development. And we're not a significantly larger team than we were when we were shipping Destiny 2. Like, this hasn't been a dramatic scale up in team size, but it has been a dramatic scale up in schedule complexity, year over year, with largely the same team. And what comes with that increased complexity is yet another redefinition of what success looks like. Because success for a great train station means predictability. It means scheduling rigor. It means no one should be doing any heroics. Like, there's this great, I don't know, maybe it's apocryphal Miyamoto quote, that a delayed game is eventually good, but a bad game is bad forever.
He said it's apocryphal.
But we found that once you're in a train station...
What?
He said this quote is apocryphal.
Oh, yeah.
Listen to the language. Fellas, and everyone in chat, like... when you hear these conferences and talks, you should be mindful of the actual language they use, like the tone of the language. This is apocryphal. Okay, so what's apocryphal?
Like inauthentic?
No. I know what it means, but he's going to tell us that this quote is apocryphal, which means it's like the fucking end of the world. That's apocryphal. This quote is the end of the world.
I don't know what the fuck.
Wait, no. Apocryphal... No, that's apocalyptic. What's apocryphal?
Apocryphal is like if you attribute a quote wrongly to someone. Apocryphal. Hold on.
It sounds like the same root as apocalyptic.
No,
right?
Doubtful authenticity, although widely circulated as being true. So yeah, yeah.
Yes. It's fucking bullshit is what he's saying.
Hold on, it's biblical though. So, the part of the biblical writings that are not accepted as canon of scripture.
Yes, I knew it. It's heretical.
Yeah.
So he's saying it's okay. We got it.
Oh yeah, that's an interesting word choice there.
Okay, so he's saying this quote is heretical.
Oh yes.
Mindset. You actually need to have almost the completely opposite approach, because a delayed train doesn't just hurt that train. It potentially causes cascade failure and chaos in the entire station. Whereas the reality is today, a bad game can be fixed. And like I hope
Wait, pause? Okay.
Yeah, that's the money. That's the money shot right there.
Oh, yeah.
We heard the money shot of today's video, which is that he's saying at any cost, no matter what happens, the game has to launch. it has to launch no matter what.
Yeah.
No matter what. He says glitches, fuck that. Staffing issues, fuck that. Your mental stability, your staff, fuck that. It has to launch.
A bombing in the fucking office, like an employer that has lost his fucking, has finally snapped and went on a fucking shooting spree. Fuck that. It's releasing.
Like that. It doesn't matter. At any cost, the game has to launch. That's so interesting.
Yeah.
The point that I'm trying to make here, like, I'm not trying to dunk on.
I kind of did genuinely wonder, like, what the attitude of these studios was to delaying games. Because, yeah, they released these buggy nightmares on launch, but I never knew if it was a situation where the team was aware that it was as buggy as it was, or they just
they know.
refused to
They know. I see
Well, I
those
just
fucking
wondered-
devs on Twitter just...
Well, I just wondered, though, if they just literally don't play test their games anymore.
Yeah.
If
Well,
they're
no,
like,
no. They fucking know.
We'll just have the world play test it and patch it. But to hear it sounds like they know and they don't give a fuck. It's going to come out.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what he said.
Yeah.
Because he said catastrophic failure. Catastrophic failure.
Yep.
Miyamoto. I'm not trying to say that quality isn't important.
But... Yeah, you are. You literally are nonstop. You're fucking saying that. And you're redefining quality as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like that earlier point about velocity, it's that you don't get the quality on a service through perfectionism or through heroics and overextending yourself in any one given moment. That is train thinking. It's not station thinking. Instead, you get to quality one train at a time. Like, our seasons in Destiny right now are the best they've ever been. I think that's a safe statement that our community would agree with. So are our expansions right now, the best they've ever been.
See, like, the problem is, right, there's like a
Well, hold on. We're not letting him get away with that.
Huh?
Does anyone really believe Bungie's games are the best they've ever been? Does anyone believe that?
I haven't played any of their games past, like, the first two Halo games, so I don't even give a shit.
Well, I played the first two Halo games, and then I really liked them. Then I played the later Halo games. I'm like, fuck this.
And Mr. Din seems to be pretty dissatisfied. Yeah, I guess, yeah. Like, reminder that he defines heroic as trying to hit the target. Hell yeah.
According to this guy, they're the best they've ever been.
Safe statements that our community can agree with, comments turned off. Yeah, buddy. Fucking perfect. Yeah, but like the frustrating thing is like, oh, this is for live service games. But no, it isn't. It isn't. We know it isn't. We know for a fact that it isn't. And we know that every game is trending in that direction, no matter if it's a live service game or if it's just a normal release.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, this is overall.
This man Loki said this man speaks as if he holds the truth. He does. He holds the fucking truth. And the truth is like fucking Lovecraftian fucking horror, dude. You peek into the abyss. It's like, holy shit. He's giving you the fucking abyss.
He's like that. Yeah, exactly. But I was going to say, no, this can't be just live service games because he just described the office environment.
Yeah.
Everyone has to go to meetings. So let's say you're working on, do they even have let's say you're working on Halo or something. And that's
you're working on like a mini game, like a side game, you know? You're still seeing those fucking stats, like nonstop.
You
it's
still
just
stack in the kitchen, and you still have to go to these meetings. So no, there's no escaping it. Even if you don't work on a live service game, you're still going to the meetings. Why would they turn this off why would they subject half of their staff, and then the other half, they're like, no, man, you just do you, boy.
Yeah, exactly. Unless it's like a specific fucking social experiment they're doing within the fucking corporation. Yeah, like
experiment.
Yeah, like treating them like rats. You know, what will these freedom artistic expression lovers do?
Yeah. There's no way.
Then they like you know, because in animal experiments they fucking kill off the animals when they're done. That's what they'll do with. That's the layoffs, dude. That was.
It laid them off. Remember?
Yeah, laid them off. Yeah, exactly. That's what it is. Okay.
And the reality is our seasons got there.
Wait. Saturn Morn, I played the first few Halo games in Destiny 2 when it was free. I found them all to be about the same. Good feel, works well for controller FPS play. That is like the most sterile fucking description I ever heard in my life, dude. Like,
the first two Halo games, at least in my opinion, are much better than the later Halo games.
I liked Halo 1. Yeah, I like Halo 1 for a bit.
Halo 1 was thick. Halo 1 was fucking awesome. That thing was genuinely revolutionary. for Western FPS. There's no doubt about it.
You gotta replay
Genuinely.
it sometime. Yeah.
Now, when you're sitting down and talking about FPSs these days, you're like, you know what? Game it's just really like cutting edge, and is really pushing the genre forward. Destiny, dude.
Yeah.
Have you played that? It's really just changing everything. There's no way.
Yeah, there's no fucking way. Yeah. Like I don't even. Yeah, it's like you said, you know, with Elden Ring, you hear everyone talk about it. With Destiny players, I've never met a Destiny player.
I've never heard anyone mention Destiny.
Yeah, and I imagine there's some players that play Destiny, but they never talk about Destiny ever.
Well, it's just this passive thing they do.
Yeah.
He's even explained that. He said it's your gaming hobby. You know, you're not fucking throwing LAN parties for Destiny like you did for Halo. I've talked about that on my various streams. Halo 1 was so fucking hot that you'd go to LAN parties and dudes would girls would come to LAN parties.
That's fucked up, dude. That's crazy.
That's how I've never seen that before or since. It was so hot that it wasn't just a LAN party. It was like a legit party. Like people would come and they'd LAN party Halo and like hang out and like fucking shoot pool, and it was like a big thing.
Yeah.
I've never seen that since.
Mujam said, well, LAN parties are dead, but like Mujam said, some of my friends play Destiny and I think that most can consider the first one better. Do they talk about Destiny outside of like, you know, do they talk about like the great design decisions? Did they get excited, or they did just play it like they're fucking doing chores? They're doing the dishes, you know?
Exactly. Well, like my brother is kind of like that with Call of Duty. When Call of Duty 4 came out, and you know, my brothers, it was like a thing. It was a big deal, and they talked about it and they loved it. Now my brothers, I think they still play Call of Duty, but it's like you said, it's like doing a chore. They're like, yeah, I play the new Call of Duty every now and again. You know what? It is not remotely the same as when Call of Duty 4 was out and they were fucking like popping off every day.
Mujam said most of it is complaining and cosmetics. Yeah. Well,
yeah, exactly.
But that's what they encourage. That's what the whole ecosystem encourages to begin with. So, you know. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get through this fucking nightmare vid.
A fair bit quicker than our expansions did, despite our seasons being under tighter schedule constraints with less room to like iterate and polish. And so do you know why they got there faster? Because right now we're on season 16. We've been able to iterate so many times as train after train passes through that station to get to where we are today. But that also means that to keep the station running, you need to let trains go out the door that carry risk on them that you might not be comfortable with.
Risk.
Or that have things that you know could be just like a little bit better.
Risk. I mean, it is a risk publishing a fucking piece of shit and finished game that barely functions. It is a risk.
I don't know. Not in this dystopian universe.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. I don't know.
If you just backed up the train station just for a couple weeks and did a heroic savings throw. And we've had to learn painfully not to do that, because that only makes things worse. So a tangible example that we found here is with Crunch.
Okay.
Because now a true...
Oh, baby. Oh, now this is a topic.
...that we have at Bungie is that...
That's like a guy slaps his wife. Don't say that. How are we supposed to go from here?
Oh, yeah.
On a live service.
If you're a big studio and you're crunching your employees and you're giving a presentation, don't try to justify that.
You don't even acknowledge it. Just don't talk about it. Come on.
Go there, man.
Also, remember, pre-layoffs, pre-massive layoffs.
Yeah.
Or you're always crunching.
Oh, my God.
Because if you put in that crunch level effort, even when it's just individuals choosing it for themselves from their own passion, you overextend yourself. You burn down your stamina bar. But unlike those big box products that we used to build, where you could roll from that release with a low stamina bar into some early pre-production and concept phase where you get to recharge, in a train station, you are rolling from that release straight into another high-pressure release in the middle of production.
Jesus fucking Christ, dude. Okay, maybe this is the most honest we'll see the developers being. Okay, maybe I take it back.
Yeah, I know. I'm saying he said that before. He said
it indirectly.
No, he said it directly. He said after the launch, he said so many things, but earlier in this presentation,
but like the thing is, he kind of like
when you got to go hard. He said that after launch, you got to go hard.
I know. But like, this is like there's that kind of direct, and there's literally, oh, you're just gonna crunch nonstop after releasing these games. There's layers, and
Yeah.
yeah, and it's like
Layers of.
and it's just yeah, fucking crazy.
You don't get a chance to recover from any overextensions. If you spent an extra week closing that last release, you've just lost a week on your next release, and you're already behind. And so in basically every case, we've seen overextension create cascading debt, where you're transferring that debt from one credit card to the next, getting further and further behind. And we see that with schedule delays. We see that with crunch. We see that with any kind of pressure, just building and getting worse and worse each release. And that is what we mean by that road leading on a service to always crunching. And the only way that we've been able to combat that is with
really crazy.
It's with dismantling the whole idea of heroics.
Really crazy.
What?
Here's a really. This is out there.
Yeah.
But what you could do is with this whole speed thing is like you could slow it down a little bit.
They're crazy? What are you talking about? Well, the thing is, like,
give your development team a little bit of a break.
The thing is, like, game development times are insane now. Remember when like a year or two of delays was like crazy? People were joking about Duke Nukem Forever taking forever when it was like what, delayed by 3 years, 4 years?
Yeah.
Stalker was people were calling it like a, I don't know how to translate it, but they were making fun that it kept getting delayed when the delays were like 3 years, something like that. It wasn't a massive deal. Now, like, that's now the
big Nintendo delay for Mario 64, like a few months or something.
Yeah, let's see.
Where that quote comes from, you're like, oh, he delayed it for like wasn't it like a few months?
Yeah, probably, yeah.
Like they supposed to be, this is just off the top of my head, so I could be wrong, but it was supposed to be like for some sort of like special, I don't know if it was Christmas or like some kind of important sort of selling time, and then they had to delay it.
Time is becoming very different in game development. It's just, it's like the developers see them in different.
He said so, it never ends. He said himself, it never ends.
Yeah, it never ends, and it's like, you create these teams where the individual developers are so expendable that they completely lose track of time. It's just, it's just depressing.
Leave it all on the field, final push to close a project that we've all felt in the past. And we have to kind of get rid of that mindset and instead just be disciplined, be constrained, operate in a way that can be repeated sustainably and consistently every release. That is the train station mindset. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that we perfected this. I'm talking about the mindset here. The recognition that if you allow even a little bit of overextension to creep onto your teams or onto your project, it's going to cascade and it's going to build.
I think this is also like his utopian vision that he sells his team. I think this is what I don't think this actually ever occurs, but this is what he's selling in these meetings. This is the bullshit he's selling his staff.
Yeah, that we're gonna avoid crunch with discipline.
You know how he said you're either never crunching or always crunching? What he's saying, what this quote is, reverse it.
Yeah.
What he's saying is that you guys are always crunching. We're pushing you all the time to the limits, but at the end of this process, we're going to arrive. We're not there yet. We're not there yet. But if you guys hang in there, in a few more months, we're going to get to never crunch.
Yeah.
Because we're going to create this perfect system where the internet is always happy, our happy meter is fully maxed, our revenue is always high, so our revenue meter is always maxed, and everyone's happy, and you're just going to work, you're just going to come in, and the stats will be nice and green, we'll say hi, you'll go to the break room, and you'll look at the monitor, and you'll be so happy and accomplished. Look, all the stats, they're so high. And then we will arrive at the never crunch. That is what's going to be. That's what he's selling his teammates. We're going to make it to never crunch. Just hang in there. Hang in there.
Happen over and over. And so the reality on the team is that this is a constantly ongoing battle. We don't catch every case on every team, but with every new release, we are trying to constantly, proactively identify where our teams are overextending themselves. Whether this could be through their own passion, or it could be through feature overscoping. But regardless, we try to actively help each team member to learn this lesson so they can ultimately get onto that never crunching path, because you don't want to be on the other path.
See, I told you. I
told you. So here's the last almost painful realization for us about train stations. So remember back when I said that box products are in the business of over-delivery. Over-delivery is actually dangerous for a train station. With every release that you put out there, you're setting a pattern for your community and for your players. And so if we release an expansion with 2 raids, let's say, next year, Our community is going to be upset if we go back to only one raid. We've hurt the station by making a rogue decision on one of the trains to over-deliver.
We said they
but at the same time, and this is
mobile.
why this lesson is painful to us, is because so much of quality and like delight in our craft comes from over-delivery, right? Like it comes from giving folks stuff above and beyond what they expected. And we still want to do that. We still want to surprise and delight and sometimes even overwhelm our players. But we need to be mindful of the patterns that we're creating, the implied future commitments that we've set for ourselves each time. And this is tough. Like this is honestly one of the ones that we're still grappling the hardest with. It's hard.
What?
I said this. I served this bullshit to my boss once, where when I was explaining to my boss, like I had this coworker who was like going fucking above, like who was just night and day, like lived and breathed their job. Like they wouldn't stop. They couldn't get rid. They couldn't stop. And I was in one of these performance discussions with my boss, and I was like, listen. I'm not going as crazy as that other worker, but they're burning out. They're burning out. I'm slow and steady.
Fantastic.
I'm just coming in, Mr. Reliable, and I don't think it quite worked. But ironically, that person did burn out and leave. But it's just funny. I literally tried to sell this.
Yeah, any minute now, dude. Yeah.
Overachieving bullshit. This won't last. This won't last.
Hard.
That's what he said.
Oh yeah.
Team that has extra cycles and they have energy.
Our games, people complain about our games not having the content, but that's just because these other studios, they're just a bunch of little nerds, and they're gonna go bankrupt, and we're gonna in the end we'll win.
Oh yeah.
And he's right.
Yeah, probably.
And the sad thing is, that's the sad part.
Yeah.
The sick but
too real for this world. Oh yeah.
And they want to do something amazing, and they know how to do it. And it totally would be amazing and awesome for the game. Sometimes we have to tell them, like, we shouldn't ship this because it's an over-delivery that is going to set us up for failure on future trains.
Dude, just goddamn it, whatever.
And to paint it in a more positive, more like proactive light, the lesson that we're still learning is that everything we deliver needs to be a blueprint. We need to understand how the blueprint will be repeated and whether or not we can do that repeating sustainably. And if we can't repeat the blueprint, or if we don't want to.
Like, how can you blast your employees with this bullshit and expect it to not affect their jobs? Like, their mentality, their creative process. Like, how can you do that?
Bog, have you worked a corporate job?
No.
Okay. So I have. And I will tell you, the kind of shit they will say is unbelievable. Because you are a hostage. So I'll give you an example. We were in a staff meeting. It was literally like Christmas, and we've been working our fucking asses off for months, and it was Christmas, and a bunch of people wanted to take time off for Christmas. The guy, he was bald. Nothing against bald.
All right, Mark, none of that fucking baldism, whatever, hairism.
Hey. He was a bald man, though. He said,
bald.
Do not abandon your post. Do not abandon your post. If you go on vacation, that is an abandonment of your responsibility, and that will go on to your coworkers. And the sick part is there were people on staff who, if you took vacation, looked at you like, fuck you. Fuck you for taking vacation. Now I have to do your job. So it's this sick.
Oh yeah, it's like mind games. Yeah, I had a little bit of that.
That people, but certain people like thrive in that because they love the feeling of like, oh, not only am I getting controlled, but I get to exercise control over my coworkers. Yeah. So there were certain coworkers like me that were like, I'm getting the fuck out of here. I quit that job, but. I was like, after that staff meeting, I was like, I'm getting the fuck out of here as soon as possible. But other people, they thrive in that environment. And so he literally said he denied everyone vacation, and he was like fully confident. Like he saw himself as General Patton, taking down the Nazis. Like that's how he viewed it. He's like, do not abandon your.
Yeah, it's like the fucking Japanese guy. It's like I think the Japanese guy found in a forest somewhere who thought he was still fighting World War II.
Exactly. Yeah. Imagine sitting in these boardrooms in Bungie. It's probably this dude's comfortable saying this shit at a public conference. Imagine how wild it is behind closed doors.
Oh yeah.
He's probably saying, do not abandon your post and shit like that.
Yeah, do not cry. It shows weakness.
Yeah.
Okay.
We need to make sure that our delivery of that feature, that content, sets up player expectations to match ours, that the blueprint is not going to be repeated. So like a good example of this recently was our legendary difficulty for our campaign. That was a cornerstone feature of the Witch Queen, and it's been really well received. Like I think it really made that expansion better than our previous ones. And it also was a meaningful step up in the amount of work that we had to do building a campaign, because we had 2 difficulty modes that were finely balanced for every single mission. And we knew that going in, so we designed it as a blueprint. And we weren't just worried about whether we could ship the Witch Queen, we were worried about, can we ship this blueprint and repeat it in every future expansion? Which fortunately now, like we want to, because it's a proven success. So yeah, returning all the way back to this moment in 2018. At the time, it honestly felt like it could be the end for us, like for D2 altogether. But what it really was the inflection point that was the beginning of us really understanding and embracing a live service mindset. This was the inciting incident that led us to some big multi-year shifts in our mindset. This is what helped us solidify a bunch of these learnings that I've tried to walk through with y'all, like how your velocity is so much more important.
Okay, I think we got everything we were gonna see here.
Let's just let him run it out.
Okay,
let him run out the clock.
Okay.
We won't interrupt.
We have to get really comfortable with failing out in the open, in front of our players. That when you're in a live service crisis, prioritizing trust, then retention, then revenue, could help you get out of it. And that you need all of your designs and all of your creative decisions to be data-informed in nuanced and quantifiable ways.
But not guardrail.
And that we're building a train station, not a train, which means that you need to stamp out crunch and any other form of heroics that you're doing that overextends your team. And to be
What?
We can just talk over him, and you don't need to pause it.
We'll just
just shout at him.
You
suck!
What they really boil down to is redefining what success means, what quality means for your entire team and culture. And if you do that, I think that any organization can make the transition from a storied history of great AAA box products into the future of live service. So yeah, I hope that you've gotten some value out of the lessons that we had to learn.
Oh, we got a lot of value.
We paid for every one of these lessons with a lot of scrapes, a lot of bruises, a lot of blood, and a lot of soul
searching. This was a big video.
Yeah,
top tier.
Yes.
Top tier.
Absolutely. I fucking told. Yeah, thanks, Gabo in chat. He recommended the video.
Wow, what a legend video.
Let's
that one's the top, dude. That one's